You're here early. Hold on, let me get out of this and into that. Hello. Hello to all my friends. Oops, wait. Something looks a bit odd. Okay, there we go. Woof. Woohoo. Woo, woo, woo. You know what I just realized? I don't think I have live television, which is not a problem. I can get it, but I forgot I don't have live television. But that's okay. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. How is everyone tonight? Hi, Oomph. Hi, Lee. Oh my gosh. Hi, Oren. Neil from earlier. So nice to see you. Oh. Well, I hope everyone had a great weekend. So gubernatorial, ain't it? Gubernatorial? Ain't it just downright gubernatorial? What if I just want fucking CNN? I don't really want anything else but that. I really don't care. Do you think CNN's going to show it? Hi, Meowing. Do you think CNN's going to show it on, like... They're not going to show it on their YouTube. They're going to make me pay. Bitches. Bitches! Okay, that's fine. We're going to do this. We're just going to do it. Okay, whatever. I don't even know what this means. Okay, fine. We're going to do that. Great. What's that mean? Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm doing something right here. Wait. Anyway, hi everybody. I'm a little high. I'm not. I'm high, but I'm not like, impaired. I don't think. Maybe. Oh shit, that's not what I meant. Okay, sorry. I fucked up. Sorry. Sorry everybody. Hi everyone. Hi Carla. Hi. Neil's back. Teresa's here. Yay. It's so nice to see everyone. I miss you guys. I'm trying to get this damn thing done. I don't know why I had all day. I'm not high enough, Carla, clearly, because I'm not functional. But I hope everyone's well. Hi, everybody. I know, too many to greet individually. Oh, my God. Okay, wait. Okay, so do it, girl. Yeah. Oh, Jen Griffey. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you, Jen. I didn't even see where you sneaking in. Are you in the, you gotta come over. If you're in the vertical, come on over to the horizontal. I know, I'm stupid. I'm just doing some stuff, I'm just doing my thing. So yeah, I'm real sorry about that. But yeah, anyway, okay, hold on. I gotta do this. Hold on. I gotta do a thing. I'll take 550 French fries. 550. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. We're doing it. I'm making things happen. Jen, I got a song for you. Hold on. Oh, come on now. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. All right, let's try that. That's not going to work, but that's okay. That's fine. We'll do that. Everything's fine. No, that's not it. Nope, not right. Nope. Okay. Yep. Okay. Come on, baby. Mama needs a pair of shoes, size 7. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. It's impossible to do anything on the web. It's just impossible when you're high. Okay, what? Yeah, that one. No, oh my God. This is so dumb. Okay, anyway. How can I tell if I'm in the vertical? You're in the fine one. You're here. You're here. You're here. Live from Uranus. I'm bringing you the California governor's thing. That's right, where they all tell you a bunch of mediocre shit that doesn't really matter. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can complete this transaction. I don't know why I thought this was just like normal. Okay, I don't know why. I'm not sure why I thought this was gonna work. Don't you guys miss me? Okay, now I'm getting mad. All right. Anyway, we'll figure it out when it comes to debate time. I'm gonna figure it out in 10 minutes because I do have some things I want to talk to you about. Hello to everyone from the lounge and beyond. It's so nice to have everyone here. Please share the broadcast. Oops, I'm on top chat, so I probably missed some people. Today was really crazy. I did laundry, and so I had way too much time just on my hands, just like trolling around YouTube. It was bad. I don't feel good about myself. Is there a scorecard? I don't really think so because frankly, we all lose. No. Hey, Al, how are you? Good to see you. Good show today, Al. So let me talk about this California gubernatorial race. So the rumors are true. This race is going to be the top 2 vote getters on June 2nd. That is the date of the primary. So it is an all-party primary. Hey, Max, how are you doing? It's an all-party primary, which means that the top 2 vote getters, no matter who they are the 2 that run in the fall for governor of California, which is a pretty big job. And unfortunately, I mean, I'm just talking to you about my own personal opinion. So please take this for what it's worth. It's a show, Al. Come on. Come on. It is. You are spreading wisdom and information versus disinformation. So you got this. You're doing great. So everyone go to Al Munson's channel. For more tips. And so the California governor's race has this really quirky thing this year where you have to, it's a jungle primary basically. Hi, Grace Lisa. I know, Steve Hilton, really? Would disinformation be not a show? Well, I mean, I guess it is a show, but I don't know. I guess format. We're thinking format, And he just has a talk show. He just talks. And spreads wisdom. And so So this governor's race has a real cast of characters. Now, this is again, I'm going to just say that this is my personal opinion. I evolve. I am an amoeba sometimes, and I'm taking in information and mitochondria or whatever amoeba take in. And sometimes I evolve, sometimes I don't. So I'm trying to get smart about this race, and I did a little bit of work so far, and I'll probably do more and keep a close eye. But right now there's about, I don't know, they say like 8 candidates or something like that, which is oh, thanks, Oren. Yes, Al is on the shirt. I looked at the governor's race this time from 4 different angles, four issues that I think are important. Now, these may not be the issues that you think are important, and I completely respect that. So, and these by no means are these the only issues, but I think that they, for me, can distinguish a candidate. I just don't think we're going to get much distinguishing. But anyway, I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. I'll eat my hat. So there's 4 issues. One, the first is trans rights, and that means access to gender affirming care without reservation, without discrimination, without any of those things. The kind of plight of housing in this state from all different aspects, including the social aspect and the emotional aspect and the care aspect that we don't exhibit for people who are unhoused. And so that, it's a thorny problem, but you know what? There's a ton of smart people in this state, so get them together and figure it the fuck out, right? And I'm sure there's great ideas. I know Invisible People is an organization that guy has great ideas about what to do in unhoused communities, having come from one and started his own organization. But anyway, so unhoused and housing, because equity in housing and ownership and things like that, and helping people get into affordable housing, I think is important at all levels. And access to health care. What are they doing, and what can be done around increasing access to health care, especially for those people who recently lost their Medicaid or have now a work requirement that they can't fulfill, or they may be, in a tenuous situation. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know what it's like to try and get help from the county, and understand that, and it is really, really fucking hard. It is hard to do. And so navigating that, especially when in crisis or anything, when you're just busy and trying to keep everybody together, I just can't even imagine. So make that navigable and easier to do. Um, and then taxes. What is their tax policy? And I know that sounds really like, stupid and white mediocre stupid stuff, but I'm asking from a standpoint of what are they going to do to tax wealth and not income? What can we do as a state that is supposedly so very progressive, which I would challenge. Having grown up here, I know what this state is like in Northern and Southern California, and there's just all kinds of MAGA. Hey, Kim Thompson, how are you, darling? Here's another Angelino. So I just think that having a plan for how you want to transform the wealth gap in this state and start there, since we're such a large economy, I think that's a perfect place to start. So those are kind of the four things that I'm looking for, listening for. But I'll be honest, I've been reading about their stances on these different issues, and there's a lot of similarities. There's a couple of people in particular that have more name recognition and at least on paper, a reasonable, they're kind of milquetoast in their response about issues like, or I shouldn't say that. It's not milquetoast. It's that it sounds like an empty promise to me. Let me put it that way. Like they haven't really thought about how to really back it up with actions, but I could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong. But issues like access to trans gender affirming care and other things, and support for trans girls who are trying to compete in sports, and other, anyone who is trying to just exist, just existing. That's all. Yeah, that's all I'm looking for, is for the right for people to exist. And so the only two that really have risen to the top for me so far are Becerra, because he did get Equality California's nod and endorsement, which is, meaningful. For however anyone thinks about Equality California, I don't really know their lobbying work and if they're doing great or not. But it should mean something that they say it. And then also Katie Porter, just from a standpoint of, she does say, or I've read that she said good supportive statements around kind of no compromise on support for trans rights. And, none of them to me have a real meaningful answer when it comes to housing and what they would do. And as for the other candidates, I've looked at them: Matt Mahan, Antonio Villagrosa, and who was a terrible mayor, so I don't really get it, but whatever. And who's the other one I just saw? Oh my God, I can't even remember. Jesus Christ. I can't remember. But anyway, I have them on a list. And I just, I don't know. I don't, I just don't, I think people need to drop out. I really do. I think people need to drop out. I think we need to focus our energy. And I hate to say that. And the only reason I say that is because the way this primary is running has a real opportunity to fuck us. The only one who are not good on trans rights also abdicate transport's participation to sports bodies, which is yes. See, this is my point, and that was my complaint, and is a complaint with Becerra. Oh, I didn't do a bingo card. I'm sorry about that. Here's the thing. I listened to Becerra's one of his comments around participation in sports for trans girls in particular, and his answer was not. It's not a full. Okay, the trans rights issue for access to sporting of sports and things like that. That to me is a civil rights issue. It has nothing to do. Like, if there's a private sports association and they discriminate against trans women or trans men, that is discrimination. And that is really just like, I know I looked at the ballot. That is discrimination. And so for Becerra in particular to sit there and say, well, I think the associations, who run the different sports can decide who plays and who doesn't. Well, no, that's not really the way it goes, Javier. That's not the way it goes. Actually, the way we do this is that we actually require people to give people an opportunity to participate. And it is based on, like singling out a certain segment of the girl population is discrimination. Pure, simple. That's it. And I really think that Democrats, this is just my soapbox, so apologies. There's many soapboxes that are very worthy, by the way. Democrats better full-throatedly say that trans rights are human rights, that Black Lives Matter. They have to really fucking step forward and say that this is because without full-throated support for the trans community, in particular for what they've been attacked with over particularly the last few years, if they are not included in this, then we're not the Democratic Party. Then we're fucking like we're the Republicans, right? Because we're picking and choosing. And we do this all the time, right? We talk about this. We say to voting right activists, oh yeah, you know what? Just wait for voting rights. We got to do this other thing. We've got an emergency over here. We've got to take care of. Well, no. And I think that's why we got where we got, is that it is hopefully a catalyst to what the fuck are we even doing? Jen! Oh my God. I got to sing you my song. Hold on. Me, 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 me. Me, me, me. Oh, let's see what this one is. Oh, Jen Griffey. 300 stars. I don't know what that means, but it sounds real good. Jen Griffey. Thanks for the stars you sent today. Hey, Jen Griffey. Thanks for those stars you sent today. I don't know what they mean, but they mean a lot to me. Thank you, Jen Griffey. There you go. All right, I got to figure out how to play this goddamn debate. All right, so of course, like whatever. Good job, everybody. Good job. Okay, let me try this. I'll try a 75th way. Okay, no problem. Doot 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 bleep blop bloop. Oh. Meep mop moop. Maybe. Oh my God. My daughter's probably going to be going, what the fuck is going on? What is my mother doing? Oh, actually, nothing's going to happen. Never mind. CNN, are you going to let us watch the debate? Wait, hold on. Hi, Agov Twitler. How are you? Hold on. Let me get this friggin' mickin' mackin' dukin' dackin' deackin' merkin' scoopy doopin'. Let's see. I'm trying to get CNN to see if it'll play, but I don't really think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be like, I'm sorry, but you need to link. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay. We have 9 minutes. Hello. How are you? How are you, darling? How are you? Thank you for coming to our evening event. It's fabulous. Yeah, it's me, all right. It's me, darling. I'm here. Okay. All right. Okay. No. God, stop. Everybody, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Okay. Do 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 boo do 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 but do be do ba ba be ba 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 what? Hmm? Hmm? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Uh, uh, uh. We're in, babes. We're in, bitches. We're in, bitches. Okay, wait. I gotta. No. Okay, stop being silly and just pull it up. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Let's see. Oh God, Vivek is gonna be the candidate for governor. God, he's such a fucking fake ass bitch. Bitch. Okay, where do I watch it? Oh my God, you guys are so stupid. Sorry. A loop error. Are you trying to gaslight me, CNN? You bitches. Okay, wait. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Oh, please, mister, please. Don't play B-17. It was our song. It was his song. Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and my cooter? Jesus Christ today. Never mind. Sorry. Wow, I'm really glad I stopped myself. Okay, let me make sure this screen while I'm doing. Gosh, you know what? I really am sorry I didn't do this before. I'm a little. I'm kind of dumb. Let's see. Oops, did the wrong thing. Great. Transform and fit to screen. Hells yeah. Hells yeah. And that's not what I wanted to do. And that's not what I wanted to do. Oh my God, CNN, you're killing me right now. You're really killing me. Sorry, everybody. CNN's trying to kill me. Fuck! I love it. I love it. Everything's fine. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ! Fuck shit, Jesus. Okay, can you just fucking show me the fucking thing? I am never giving any money to any fucking. Okay, I am perplexed. Oh my God. Okay, I've got 5 minutes. This is like, oh my God, this is like our own. This is like our own Mission Impossible. Please don't use the Lord name in vain. Who? What do you want, my Lord? Okay, just please give me that. Please. Please, I'm asking. Please, nicely. Please, please, please. Okay. Oh. Hold on, everybody. Oh my God. Okay, we've got 4 minutes now. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, that's right. That's right. Don't fuck me. Don't.
Don't fuck me. Do not fuck me. Don't do it. Don't. Where is it? Where is it? Where is CNN? I just did. Oh my god, I want to kill myself. It's me in the death loop. It has me in the death loop of loops. Is looping me. Mama. 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 Ooh. I didn't mean to make you cry. I don't know. I don't know. Why are they not letting me just watch it? I paid money for it. I'm sad. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Cooter detour. We're gonna find it. God damn it! It's okay. Hold on. Hold on. I'm not giving up yet. I'm going to the Russian site. They must have it. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, fucking damn it. Oh, fucking damn it. No, they don't have CNN. I can't. I actually am, like, incredibly embarrassed right now. I just want you to know that. Not the least of which for just, like... Don't you think these are things they should just have on, like, real TV, like, regular, everybody gets to see it? Don't you think? I don't know, I think that does. Wait. I could steal someone's, I don't feel good about doing that. Let me see. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think this was gonna happen. Did not think this would happen. It's 6 o'clock and they're probably starting. Oh my god. Oh my god. Please. Please. I gave you money. Please. I gave you money. I gave you money. I gave you money. It's just not gonna do it. Okay. Oh, I know. No. Oh, maybe. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible person. I didn't mean to do this. Pooper scooper. Okay. Wait a minute. Wow. Wow. I'm surprised. Okay, well, this is interesting. Oh my god. Just went. Oh boy. I know. Yeah. Okay. Damn it. Oh, wait. Oh, fucking. Oh. Oh.
Focus on the issues they care about.
A CNN special event, the California Governor Primary Debate, starts right now.
And good evening from Southern California, and welcome to our viewers in the United States and around the world. We're live from the campus of East Los Angeles College, and this is the CNN California Governor Primary Debate. I'm Caitlin Collins.
And I'm Alex Michelson. Tonight, you'll hear from 7 candidates seeking to lead the most populous state in the nation and manage the 4th largest economy in the world.
He's gonna be there.
Early voting is already underway. Ballots are now being cast.
I'm
And a
so
reminder
sorry,
that
everybody.
the top 2 finishers, regardless of party, advance to the general election, which is why we have both Democrats and Republicans together on stage here tonight. And this race is wide open.
The candidates are former Los Angeles Mayor, Democrat Antonio Villaraigosa, former Congresswoman, Democrat Katie Porter, businessman, Democrat Tom Steyer, businessman and former television host, Republican Steve Hilton, Riverside County Sheriff, Republican Chad Bianco, former Health and Human Services Secretary, Democrat Javier Becerra, and the mayor of San Jose, Democrat Matt Mahan.
Candidates, we're about to begin, but first a review of the ground rules that your campaigns agreed to in advance. Our goal is to facilitate a fair and
is that any better?
productive debate.
Testing, any better?
Each of you will receive 1 minute to answer questions, 30 seconds for responses and rebuttals, and 15 additional seconds if one of us moderators asks you for a clarification. The timing lights in front of you will remind you of these limits. Please respect them and the other candidates on the stage during their allotted time.
Let's get right to it. California, as you all know, has long been a symbol of the American dream. But right now, many Californians are struggling to make ends meet. The state now has the highest unemployment rate in the nation. And according to analysis from our partner, USA Facts, it is one of only 5 states that lost population between 2024 and 2025.
Steve Hilton is
Secretary Becerra, given everything that I just laid out there,
Republican.
why did Democrats deserve another 4 years in charge?
Caitlin, because Democrats are the ones that aspire to include everyone and not leave anyone behind. Like my parents, who came with $12 in their pocket to California, and they lived the California dream. My 3 sisters and I, we got to live the California dream. But it doesn't come easy. You have to work hard. My mother today still shops with coupons, and you learn that when you watch that growing up. And I know that my job as Attorney General, as Secretary of Health and Human Services, is always to help people like my parents who are working hard. And that's why I fought for our families, made sure that when Donald Trump was attacking us the first time, we went toe-to-toe with him more than 120 times. I had to sue Donald Trump to keep him from destroying our state of California. When I was Secretary of Health and Human Services, we expanded access to health care to more Americans than ever in the history of the country. We were able to negotiate lower drug prices for the first time in history for Medicare, and we proved that we could drop prices by up to 80%. If we fight to make California affordable, people will stay and they will come to this great state.
Thank you, Secretary Becerra. Mr. Steyer, that question, why do Democrats deserve another 4 years in charge, is a key one. What's your response?
Well, the biggest problem in California is that Californians can't afford to live here anymore. And it starts with housing, but it definitely includes healthcare. It includes electric costs, which are twice as high as in the rest of the country. And it includes soaring gasoline prices. I have a plan for every single one of those. The difference between me and everybody else is I'm willing to take on the corporate special interests. I'm willing to push for single payer. I'm willing to take on the electric monopolies. They're spending big against me, and that proves it. I'm the change agent, and I'm the progressive.
Mayor Mahan, what's your response?
Well, Caitlin, we deserve better. I'm the only Democrat in this race who has challenged the establishment within my own party to demand better results. I've made San Jose the safest big city in the country, unblocked thousands of homes that are now under construction, led our city to reduce homelessness faster than any other city. We don't need MAGA values, but we also don't need more of the same. There's a lot of
Everyone went
talk
to Santa
on this
Cruz.
stage, but we should be honest. The experience we hear from Secretary Becerra didn't lead to better outcomes. It led to 85,000 migrant children who were lost, more fraud in our healthcare system. Tom Steyer's making a lot of false promises up here, things that the legislature already rejected because we don't know how to pay for them. We need pragmatic, results-oriented leadership. I know what's at stake. I grew up in a working class family. We were paycheck to paycheck growing up. I will fight every day to make life better for working Californians.
Mr. Steyer, do you want to respond to that?
I absolutely do. I will, on the first day, call a special election to close a corporate real estate tax loophole that's worth over $20 billion.
It's convenient to close it after you've profited from it.
The truth is that the California government needs more money because Donald Trump is kicking 1 to 3 million people off Medi-Cal, and our school system needs more money to support teachers and students. And I'm the only person on this stage that will go after corporations and raise the revenue we need to have a system that actually works for California.
So raising taxes
Mr. Hilton, can I get you to weigh in on this prospect as voters are facing this as they go and they're getting their ballots now?
So, Caitlin and Alex, it's interesting. We've already seen a couple of things that we'll probably see a lot of in this debate, which is the Democrats who are here who've been responsible for 16 years of one-party rule for everything that we see in California, won't take responsibility, and all they can talk about is Trump. Look, I was asked how I'm preparing for this debate the other day, and my answer was the meetings, the thousands of people that have come to our events the last year in California. I've traveled to every part of the state. I've seen the struggle and the stories. And that is my struggle and my stories. My parents were immigrants. The California dream is my dream, and I want that for every single one of you watching out there.
Mr.
We
Hilton,
can get it back.
You heard Mayor Mahan invoke MAGA values in his answer there. There are more than 2/3 of registered voters in this state who disapprove of President Trump's job performance. Why should voters who are unhappy with the performance of the president vote for the candidate that he's endorsed in this race?
So they should vote for the candidate who's got a concrete plan to make our state Cal-affordable. $3 gas. Cut your electric bills in half. Your first 100 grand tax-free. A home you can afford to buy. It's common sense, practical things. Most of my career has been in business. I know how to get things done, and we need to change. We need some fresh thinking after 16 years of one-party rule from these Democrats that have given us the highest poverty rate, as you mentioned, the highest unemployment rate, and the highest cost of living in the country.
Mr. Hilton.
Secretary Becerra, go ahead.
Mr. Hilton, how can you say that Democrats have it wrong when you can't admit that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? The fact is, all you do is point at Democrats, scream
Well,
at
you have been in
Democrats,
charge for 16
and don't
years,
have anything
Antonio.
else to say. And I want to chime in on what Matt Mahan said. He's not the only Democrat that's challenged his party. I have as well, and I have for a long time. Alex, you said a few months ago that I've been talking about affordability for years. I've been challenging my party.
I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. Thank you, Oomph. Thank you, everyone. Neil. Okay, so quickly, the only Republican that I think is there is Steve Hilton. I don't think Chud Bianco, I'm so sorry, the sheriff is there. And then this guy, Antonio Villagrosa, and Matt Mahan, the former mayor of San Jose, I'm so sorry, are also basically Republicans. Okay, they're basically Republicans. And then Katie and Xavier Becerra are probably the more progressive Democrats. So it's pretty much all Democrats by name, except for Steve Hilton, who is a former Fox News host. Yeah, he doesn't have a concrete plan. He doesn't have any plan. I checked. He doesn't. I'm sorry.
For years. I've been challenging my party for years because it's been Democrats that brought us here. But I can also challenge Donald Trump and say very clearly that he lost the election in 2020. You can't, Mr. Hilton.
Thank you, Mayor Villagrosa. Mr. Hilton, I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
And I'll get a chance to respond to Mr. Mahan's attack as well.
Mr. Hilton, go ahead.
It's not Donald Trump who's given us gas prices $2 higher than the rest of the country. It's Democrat policies, which Antonia and all the Democrats here support. It's not Donald Trump that's given us the highest housing costs in the country. It's Democrat policies that all these Democrats support. Donald Trump is the president in all the other states of America where the cost of living is way lower than in California. Obviously, it is way past time for change in California. And endlessly going on about Donald Trump doesn't serve the needs of the struggling families and small businesses.
Can you say whether or not he won the election?
Secretary Becerra, go ahead.
So Mr. Mahan chose to divert from answering the question about affordability to launch attacks. What I would simply say to him is, let's focus on who's raising the cost of living in California the most. And that's Donald Trump. The price of gas has gone up $1 to $2 because of Donald Trump and his war in Iran. The price of goods, groceries, have gone up in California because of Donald Trump's illegal tariffs.
You see, all they can say is
not true. That's just not true. We've had the highest gas prices on average over $2 than the rest of the nation for a very long time.
Antonio's right
it
about
worse
that.
for sure.
Boys.
But it's not.
Villagrosa,
Enough with the
I'll get right back
bickering.
to you. But Congressman Porter, I mean, to this question in and of itself, you're a Democrat who served in
Do you
Washington.
see what I'm saying?
What's your response?
We are fucked.
Look, California
Do you see
does
what
need
I'm
to make
saying?
changes. The world is changing around us. We are seeing AI come and present real challenges with jobs. The pace of climate change is real. We have an unreliable federal partner who's made clear that California is going to attack California. Donald Trump has not made any bones about that. This is a real opportunity for California to set its eyes on the future. We do need to make change in California. And it is ridiculous for Mr. Steyer to claim that he's the only candidate that has taken on corporations, when I will tell you there are a lot of CEOs who've been whiteboarded who would beg to differ.
Thank you, Congressman.
Can I respond
Sheriff
to that?
Bianco, we haven't heard from you. Let me get your response.
Well, thank you. I just want to actually answer your question.
He
Why
is
do
there.
Democrats
Okay,
deserve
there's
it?
Chud
You just
Bianco.
listened to probably 10, 15 minutes of why they don't. We are going to get nothing but the same from them. They brought us here. Every single one of these career politicians brought us to the point where we are here today. They do not deserve another chance. They have broken us with endless regulations that have destroyed California, destroyed our businesses, destroyed the cost of gas. We need a unbelievable change to get back. And unfortunately for all of them, I'm the only one on this stage that has spent a career making California lives better.
We're going to talk about the economy now.
And you want to know what Chud did? Chud launched an investigation into the Prop 50 election that we had for redistricting last year, and basically absconded with 650,000 ballots. And now he's under investigation for that. So Chud is walking into this under investigation. This is what we're dealing with. It's terrible.
Economy now. We'll get you in a moment, Mr. Steyer, but we're going to go to you, Mr. Mahan, with this question and the issue of affordability. As we know, right now, gas prices across the country are skyrocketing, due in part to the Iran war. The highest prices right here in California. Mayor Mahan, it costs $6 right now or more to fill up buy a gallon of gas in this state. Your opponent, Mr. Hilton, is promising to bring that price down to $3 a gallon in his first year in office. Is that realistic?
No, it obviously isn't. Look, I grew up in a farming town. I know what it means when the cost of gas goes up $1. People start actually having to make really tough trade-offs. Can you pay the rent? Can you put food on the table? I'm the only candidate in this race who has called for a suspension of the gas tax because
That's not true.
It disproportionately harms working families. We need to reform this tax and make sure EV owners and higher income earners are paying their fair share. But the truth is, Javier Becerra is misleading when he blames all of our cost issues on Donald Trump. I've fought against Trump. We've sued the Trump administration. We've blocked his cruel immigration enforcement tactics. But California's problems have been long running. We don't need more career politicians supported by the insiders in Sacramento. The truth is, we had the highest housing costs, highest energy costs, some of the highest unemployment and poverty rates in the country for years, long before Donald Trump ran for president. We need more pragmatic policy.
Okay, that guy was born in San Francisco. Now, he did grow up in Watsonville. I also grew up near Watsonville, and I have family basically in Watsonville. So I know Watsonville very well. Now, granted, he could have been, it is a farming community, but it's corporate farms. Okay, there are mostly farmers that do for like Driscoll's, strawberries, artichokes, things like that. So they're either large family farms that have been there for generations, as long as I was alive in that area. And so unless he comes from a wealthy farm family, I don't think his family were farm workers. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. So I'm a little sus on the I'm from a farming community if you're saying Watsonville, okay? I'm sorry. You can't pull that shit. I know better than that. Now maybe you do. Maybe you come from a family farm. I don't know. That means you have a lot of money and you might be a polluter.
We need more pragmatic policies, removing regulations that are in the way, reducing fees.
Mr. Hilton, to you, and then Secretary Becerra. Mr. Hilton.
So Matt says that it's obviously impossible to get to $3 gas, as I've laid out in my plan. Before the Iran war, there were 40 states in America with $3 gas or lower, most of which don't have the abundant oil reserves that we have in California. But because of the policies supported by Matt and all these Democrats, we are now shipping oil halfway around the world, 7,500 miles from places like Iraq, instead of opening up California oil and gas production so we can reduce costs and get $3 gas in California, which is my plan.
You know why we have those higher standards is because in places like Los Angeles, where we are today, it used to be that you couldn't breathe. Kids would have higher asthma rates. We have those higher standards for a reason. We can bring down costs over time, but it's
technology that's
totally unrealistic that you're going to have $3 gas in a year. You're lying to me.
Only in a Democrat state.
Secretary Becerra.
Well, I'm fascinated to see people argue that we should get rid of the funding for the roads so we can take care of potholes, the highways, so we can make sure that we don't have massive congestion, or our transit systems, by getting rid of the one way we fund those systems the most, the gas tax. If we were to get rid of the Trump gas tax, we would be able to save ourselves about $1 to $2 at least, just in the Trump gas tax as a result of his war in Iran. Let's start focusing where the real problem is. And yes, I'm going to repeat Donald Trump as often as I have to, because he's the real menace we have in California.
He's got nothing else to say.
Your perspective.
So let me say this. This war in Iran has driven up the gas by at least $1.50. And the truth is, we should be taxing the oil companies because they are getting a windfall profit as a result of the war that the president that they put into office started for no apparent reason. We should be taxing that money. We should send it directly to Californians' pockets, not to the government of California. And let me say this. Being in bed with oil companies is a mistake. Javier Becerra has taken the max amount of money from Chevron, and he has said they're good guys that we need. The truth of the matter is the oil companies are ripping us off at the pump. They're polluting our air, and they're burning up the planet.
Thank you, sir. Secretary Becerra, your response.
Yeah, it's a rich response from a guy who made his billions investing in fossil fuels, in oil companies, in coal companies. Now he makes the billions, and he has spent more than every other candidate combined in his campaign, using those profits to now try to buy his seat in the governor's office. Tom, the last thing we need is someone who makes riches from investing in oil companies and then accuse everyone else of doing the wrong thing.
Can I retire? Look, I walked away from my company 14 years ago so I could give back to California. I am the person on this stage who is fighting the oil companies. And the way that you know is they're spending millions of dollars to prevent me from getting elected.
Well, why not give back your billions of dollars that you raised that you made in profits?
Make polluters pay. And the truth of the matter is, every environmentalist in this state has endorsed me.
All right,
and the people who are opposing me, you can just follow the money. The oil companies, the electric monopolies are spending tens of millions of dollars against me. The environmentalists are to a person supporting me. That's what's going on.
Why aren't they asking Katie Porter any questions?
Supporting me. That's what's going on in this election.
Let's talk about the proposed billionaire tax. Just last week, a one-time 5% tax on the assets of billionaires cleared a critical hurdle to make the ballot in November, setting up a clash over what could be the nation's first wealth tax. Congresswoman Porter, Mr. Steyer, as we just referenced, is the only billionaire on the stage. He supports this tax. You do not. Why not?
Because I support good ideas, not things that help me dodge political potholes due to my own background. This billionaire's tax is simply not good.
Do you see why I'm so depressed? Do you see why I am so depressed? Everybody has bullshit in there. You know, like, of course no one's a monolith, but this is like mediocrity, and it's like these, you know, like, why not support the billionaire tax wealth? Why not do some bold things, Katie? Are you so scared of not getting support from rich people? Okay, are you so frightened that you're gonna lose out on something that you don't want to piss people off? I know her hair's cute. She's got good hair. And Becerra, I swear to God, if you're pulling another fucking Jeffries, okay? MAGA extremists, MAGA, Trump, which is fine. You can point to the fact, but my God, that is not your argument. Talk about what you are going to do in California. Be the adult. Stop doing the baiting shit. I'm sick to death of these. I mean, have they learned nothing over the last 6 years? Nothing since the last election? Have they learned nothing? That if you're just going to be like, I don't know, this is why I've been struggling with this goddamn, I don't know, we'll find out. But I don't know, why Democrats are having a really hard time with this. Like, just fucking be brave for once. If it never mattered, it matters now. You know, like, I can't, anyway, I don't know. So anyway, that's why I can't get excited, but we've got to figure this the fuck out, because I am sure as shit not, okay, I lived under Governor Pete Wilson. Do you remember that? I lived under Duke Magian. Okay, do you remember that? I lived under Ronald Reagan, governor of California. I remember. He's not even, I think, I don't like any of them. I don't like Becerra. I think he's an administrator. And it's all the same shit. Although maybe I'm wrong. And you know what? If he proved me wrong and he was like super uber progressive and like went crazy with that, I'd be like, oh my God, that's great. You know, I'm happy to eat my words, but I'm not seeing it. And then maybe he'll come out tonight and really show me, but I don't know. Okay. So, and this is all my own opinion. I don't begrudge anybody their better informed opinion or anything. Okay. So if you have a better informed opinion, congratulations. You're very, very smart. Arnold. I remember Arnold. Oh my God. Pete Wilson was the worst. He was the worst. He was like early Nazi.
Simply not good tax policy. And anybody who has watched me in Congress take on bank CEOs, take on pharma CEOs, challenge them for the fact that their workers can't make ends meet while they're pocketing $26 million a year, knows that I will speak truth to power. And here is the truth. This tax isn't going to fundamentally change California's economy in the way that young people and the working people of California need. It's a one-time tax, but we don't have one-time revenue needs. It taxes billionaires as if half billionaires don't have two nickels to rub together and couldn't chip in a little bit more. And 90% of the money is dedicated to only one thing, when we have all kinds of revenue problems coming at us from our own decisions and Donald Trump. So yes, to a progressive tax code. Yes, to the wealthy paying more. But this tax is about cheap political points. It is not about really fundamentally changing California's economy for the better. That's going to take real political courage.
Hey,
Mr.
Katie,
Steyer, just about
yes,
cheap political
and,
points, your response.
okay?
No.
Yes, and.
I have said that billionaires like me should pay more taxes and the big corporations should pay more taxes.
Excuse me,
and
you
that's
literally
why
said-
if this proposition is on the ballot in November, I'll vote for it. But going forward, we do need to go further. This is a one-time tax, and it also doesn't spread the money across the government the way everything else does. And specifically, it doesn't go to education and teachers and students, which is a critical need in the state of California. The tax I'm proposing to close a corporate real estate tax loophole is more money, and it's spread throughout
I'm
the
the only
government.
candidate that's actually balanced two budgets.
Congresswoman.
I'm confused. Do you support the billionaire's tax that is going to be on the ballot in November, yes or no?
Katie, I just said I will vote for it if it's on the ballot in November. So what I've said is,
but you just said it wasn't a good idea.
Go far enough that in fact it is a one-time tax, and it also doesn't spread the money throughout the government. Look,
let me weigh
we
in.
have an education
I'm the only
system
candidate that's actually balanced two budgets.
We're going to bring Sheriff Bianco in first, and then we'll get to you, Mr. Mayor. Sheriff Bianco.
Thank you. So these Democrat policies of tax everybody to death and make them leave is how we started this program off to begin with. Everyone is leaving California, and it's because of their horrific policies. I agree with Katie that this is a horrific tax bill, but she is wrong on one thing. This is not a billionaire tax bill. You just have to read it and read what it is. I have spent my career suffering the consequences of their decisions and their policy that they love talking about. I am the one that deals with it. And the 140,000 people that are paying 50% of the taxes are going to leave. And then the wording of that bill makes the middle class and the lower middle class make up all those taxes.
Thank you, sir. The next question goes to you, Mr. Mayor Villaraigosa. In the last 7 years, Fortune 500 companies such as Oracle, Chevron, Charles Schwab, Palantir have all moved their headquarters out of California. Mayor Villaraigosa, your opponent, Congresswoman Porter here, wants to raise taxes.
Okay, yeah. Let me tell you about Charles Schwab. The guy moved to Texas because he's from Texas. Charles Schwab, as a person, I know, loved Midland, Texas, where he grew up. And he always wanted to return there. So, yes, there may have been tax reasons to do it. But I also know for a fact that Charles Schwab made that decision in large part because of family stuff. So, suck it, bitches.
Porter here wants to raise taxes on the most profitable corporations. Would her plan lead to more businesses leaving the state?
Yes. But let me just say, I'm the only candidate on this stage that's actually balanced two state budgets with a surplus and a tax cut. And I could tell you this, we over-rely on the upper income tax. That's why you have feast and famine virtually every year. So the problem with the billionaire tax, it's a one-time tax. It's flawed. If I believe that people that make that kind of money ought to pay more. In fact, when I'm governor, people like Tom who want to pay more will be able to do that. But at the end of the day, the federal government should do it because people are leaving, and they've been leaving because of the threat of this tax, just as businesses have been leaving because of the high tax state that we are.
Congresswoman Porter, your response in terms of your tax plan.
Yeah, look, I think all taxes should be progressive. And I think that is a core principle. And families get this. When they get a bonus, when they earn a little more, they trip up into a different tax bracket and they have to pay more. That's all I'm suggesting we do for corporations. And by the way, not only would that say to the corporation that has a banner year and makes $1 billion, you pay not the same rate. Maybe you pay a tiny bit higher rate so that we can provide tax relief for families earning less than $100,000.
Mayor Mahan, your thoughts in terms of taxing businesses?
Yeah, look, Where I differ with my Democratic colleagues is they're all talking about how to raise revenue, make government bigger. Secretary Becerra always brags about how big the $1 trillion budgets were that he managed. I'm interested in making government better. The answer isn't always bigger. In San Jose, without raising taxes, with a balanced budget, we got thousands of homes under construction. We moved thousands of people indoors and led the state in reducing homelessness. We made our city the safest big city in the country, reduced gun violence by 71%. Californians are tired of the more of the same policies. We also, I think it's disqualifying that we have Republican candidates who are embracing Donald Trump's cruel and ineffective policies.
Let's go, Mr. Hilton, to you, and then we'll get Secretary Becerra in for his response. Mr. Hilton, disqualifying is what Mayor Mahan said.
It is.
There's a very simple truth, which everyone in California knows, which is that taxes are too high, and we need taxes to be lower. And they're especially too high for working people in California. You got people on 70, 80, 90 grand in California, which doesn't get you very far, who are paying 9.3% state income tax. That is higher than the top rate in most other states. That's why my plan eliminates state income tax under 100 grand. And by the way, if you think that it can't get worse in California, I've got 2 words for you. Tom Steyer. Under Tom Steyer, the taxes will be higher, gas prices will be higher, everything will be higher with Steyer.
Okay, we'll go to Steyer, then we'll go back to Becerra. Mr. Steyer.
I do think it's rich to hear someone talk about $3 gas who is owned by Donald Trump, who has driven up the gas price by at least $1.50. And I do think it's rich for somebody who is
not as rich as you,
president, Tom, who's kicking 1 to 3 million people off Medi-Cal, the poorest people, most vulnerable people in California, so that he can lower the taxes on the richest Americans and the biggest corporations. The truth of the matter is, what I stand for is shared prosperity, real growth, supporting businesses, but sharing it work so that the people in California get what they need.
Thank you.
And going after corporate special interests is the way we're going to drive down costs.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer. Secretary Becerra, Mayor Mahan suggested that you're interested in growing the size of government. He says he wants to cut it. Your response
I didn't say I want to cut it. I said I want to use the revenue we have today to make government better. We need to demand Sacramento do better before we ask working people to pay more. All of Tom Steyer's proposals will just increase cost.
Secretary Becerra.
Mayor Mahan should take a look at my record and he'll realize that the largest health enterprise in the world, the Department of Health and Human Services, is big. It's because we have to make sure we're doing everything to improve the health care for 333 million Americans. And we balanced our budget 4 years in a row. So, Matt, here's the thing. I've been able to balance budgets much larger than your city of San Jose and make sure that we continue to improve health care for more Americans. But on the issue of taxes, here's the point. Everyone should pay their fair share. No one can claim that a CEO who's making more than 1,000 times more than their line workers is paying their fair share. And Tom, one of these days, let us know how much money you have in the Cayman Islands so we can make sure we tax you your fair share.
Okay, I'm going to answer that because I pay full taxes on everything. I'm invested in all over the world, and I pay full California and U.S. taxes on absolutely everything. That's not fair. But what is fair is this. I'm going to drive down costs. The idea that
you use every tax loophole available. You pay the lowest tax rate of anyone on the stage.
By going after the electric monopoly that no one else here will take on. We're going to introduce competition. I'm going to go after the oil companies, make them pay for their pollution, and have a windfall profits tax. Look, I am going to drive down costs for working people, and that will not only work for them, it will work for the corporations to employ them and make them more competitive.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer. Mr. Mahan, your
Heather coming in strong. So here's the thing, Mahan. Keep ignoring that grand jury report around sexism in your fire department. Fix your own problems first. Yeah, I don't think Mahan is all that he seems. I think he's a big puppet of the glitterati tech bros. So no, he's a no.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer. Mr. Mahan, your chance.
Yeah, I have to go back to this point about it's not always about the size of the budget or how big government is.
But being able to balance it is an important point.
Yeah, but Javier,
I think you have to admit that.
Here's what I would ask you to acknowledge, which is you keep referencing your experience as your main qualification, but what have those 30 years of experience gotten us.
More
AG,
Americans insured than ever
healthcare.
in
No,
the
hold on.
history
Let
of
me
the
finish. Let me
country? Well,
finish.
you asked the question.
Higher and less affordable healthcare that's squeezing.
Actually, not on my watch. We
Squeezing out.
reduced the price
No,
of
we did
healthcare.
not.
Not on my
Healthcare costs
watch.
have gone up relentlessly.
You haven't
Health
talked to the millions
outcomes.
of Americans we helped
If I
insure.
could just finish my point.
Well, you have to make sure you're saying something that's factual.
Okay, it's pretty. You can go look at the data. Healthcare costs.
That's right. Look
are
at the data.
up.
We were able to
Health
get more
out-
Americans insured than ever in the
Would you
history
mind
of
if
the
I
country.
just finish the point?
Mr.
And then
Mayor,
you can- yeah,
finish
I
your
just
point,
three,
and then
three
Secretary
really,
Bissell, you'll
One
get
at
it.
a time.
three
One at a
really,
time.
three really quick points. Yeah, I'll just
Can
make
we
it
talk
quickly
about the
and then
issues
you can
here, not
respond.
I'm
So,
yelling
Be
at each
prepared to
other.
fact check, though.
when it's your turn, go ahead. So higher healthcare costs that are squeezing families today, worse health
Macaroni, you're over
outcomes,
on the
and as
vertical. Come on
fraudulent
over
and
to
wasteful
the,
spending in healthcare
the
grew.
horizontal.
Javier Becerra
It's
did
on the channel
nothing as
too.
AG
I'm
and
so
as
sorry.
Gotta
HHS
fact check
secretary.
that one.
Well,
Come
it's
on
as
over.
bad as ever, and you've been in a career politician.
That's
So-
time, Secretary Becerra.
Yeah, totally untrue. Man, that sounds like a MAGA talking point. Listen,
No, it's just
under
the facts.
under my watch, more Americans gained health coverage than ever in the history of the country, more than 300 million. Under my watch, we were able to give folks access to the Obamacare insurance policies on the marketplace for, in some cases, $10 or less a month in premiums. Today, those are skyrocketing, and people are losing those premiums and insurance coverage because Donald Trump abandoned those health care subsidies.
Thank you, Secretary.
Learn the
Becerra.
facts, Matt, before you start talking
We're
on
going
the
to come
stage.
back to healthcare because obviously it's a huge topic for everyone in this state. I want to turn to another critical issue, not just in California, but also in the entire nation, which is immigration, as all of you know. Mr. Hilton, right now, President Trump is enacting a policy of mass deportation. As you know, roughly half of California farm workers, which are an essential part of this state's economy, are undocumented. As governor, would you push to deport them?
So I'm the only immigrant on stage. I'm a legal immigrant, and Americans support immigration when it is properly controlled. And what we saw under the Biden administration, open borders, undermined everybody's support for immigration. And as governor, I've made it very clear, although it is the federal government's responsibility to determine and implement immigration policy, I think it's important that all the laws are peacefully enforced. And as governor, I would make sure that we work with the federal government to enforce our laws.
So
that
you'll
is what
deport
people
them.
expect.
So just
That
to
is what
clarify,
people
Mr. Hilton,
expect.
do you support deporting those undocumented farm workers?
The policy on deportation is the exact same policy that we saw with President Obama. In fact, the numbers of deportations right now in our country and in California are slightly
But just
lower.
to clarify
than
your
Can you answer
position,
the
just
question?
to clarify,
This is why Democrats, get your shit together. Do not split this vote so badly that one of these fucking maggots, these fucking Hitlers, gets into power somehow because we thought we'd be cute. So I don't know how you do this, Democrats, but figure your shit out and nail it down. Because we have less than a month to figure this the fuck out. And the fucking booklet, the booklet for the goddamn ballot is like 70 pages of all these idiots. So if you are a casual voter, whatever, you might really make a mistake when it comes to voting just based on some kind of weird name recognition. I mean, for Christ's sake, I could see people voting for this numbnut because his last name is Hilton, and too many people like Kathy Hilton and think that they're related. I'm serious. That's a thing. So, given the nature of this ridiculously stupid primary that is not by party, and I get it. We can complain about parties too. I have no problem with that. But I'm going to tell you right now, but we have to figure out what we're going to do. And it is a decision among mediocrity. I get it. I mean, but I do not want this fucking douche whistle to be on the ballot in the fall. I can't. We cannot take that chance. I mean, yeah, Katie's. I don't. I mean, for me right now, and this is, again, just my personal opinion, no judgment to anyone, what I'm feeling at the moment, and this could change, is that for me, it's between Katie Porter and Javier Becerra. So anyway, I don't know.
Answer the question.
Just to clarify
I've
your
answered the
position.
question, which is I will work.
Will you deport him?
Like a
That was the
dumbass.
question.
Well, would you, Antonia, because the governor of California,
Antonio,
as you know,
sorry.
doesn't make that decision. It is the president of the United States elected by the country.
Will you oppose him?
Six of the people here don't even know who deports anyone. They just want emotions to rule the day, so you support them because they don't even know what the governor can and can't do. Or if they do, they're lying to you.
Congresswoman Porter.
I can't believe that on a stage with 30 minutes of interrupting and bickering and name calling and shouting and disrespect for everyone up here who's stepping into public service, that anyone wants to talk about my temperament.
You were
Talk
actually
about your
interrupting them too. I don't know why you want to act like you weren't.
Oh, cowboy
Steve and
cupcake.
Steve and I sat here smiling at each other because we're just watching you all prove to everyone why they can't vote for a Democrat.
Exactly.
I'll answer the question.
Congresswoman Porter, first off, do you want to respond to that from Sheriff Bianco?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I did not interrupt. I did not go
Oh
back
my
and forth.
God.
Mr. Bianco, you've been very well behaved tonight.
If this could be any worse, I mean, of course, it can always be worse, but I hate this part, okay? I really hate this part. I really hate this. I feel like people are acting in a play, you know? I can't believe this is where, I mean, you know, it's so it's just so dumb, and I get it. I mean, I guess I don't think I get it. I don't think I get it. I don't think I get it.
Mr. Bianco, you've been
think
very
it's a
well
huge
behaved
waste of
tonight,
time.
especially compared to CBS, and I actually appreciate it that you've been waiting your turn and following the rules. And I would appreciate it if everybody could do that, because I think Californians are actually owed some answers to questions.
We were told we can interject.
Congresswoman Porter, on the question itself on these farm workers, which are a big part of California's economy, what's your answer to that? As Mr. Hilton is saying, it's the decision of the federal government.
It's the job of the governor to protect every single Californian, period. There are no qualifications on that.
Are you doing
are
that?
living-
Are you doing that by having a sanctuary state policy? Absolutely not. And I was on the stage telling everyone what was going to
I
result
would like to get
from sanctuary state,
complete
and it's forcing
answer.
forcing
Before you
us to be
interrupt.
less safe.
May I give an answer?
Go ahead,
It's the job of the California governor to protect every single Californian. The sanctuary state policy is designed to make sure that our state resources, the taxpayer dollars, the public servants that we have, are focusing on doing their jobs, which is not cooperating with the federal immigration authorities. These are Californians. They contribute to our economy, they pay taxes, and they're one of the only ways that our state has been growing in recent years.
Mayor Ragosa?
You know, you say you're a sheriff, and I know you are, but you clearly don't know what the sanctuary law does.
I'm the only one up here that has to work with it.
Mr. Bianco, excuse me. The fact is, since 2019, the state has turned over 12,000 violent criminals to the federal government. Sanctuary law does not protect violent criminals in the way that you constantly say they do.
Yes, it does.
We've turned over, this state has turned over 12,000 criminals. I'll tell you what I think is illegal is a sheriff of Riverside County sequestering
It's
votes,
because you're lying
thousands
to
of votes
people.
in the way that you did.
It's because you're
and
lying
the
to people
Supreme
right
Court,
now.
Court
We should
said
do that
that
for
you
to decide
shouldn't have
governor.
done it in the first place.
No,
We
they
just have a
didn't.
big brother
interject on this?
situation.
Caitlin, can I go?
Go ahead, Mr. Becerra, Secretary Becerra.
So I'm the only one who actually has experience
get
taking on
Mark
Trump
Burnett
in the
on
way
the
he's
phone.
handling undocumented immigrants, because when he was president the first time, I was the attorney general, and we took him on straight on in court. We stopped him from trying to force local law enforcement to do the bidding of ICE. We were able to make sure we protected the DACA program for our dreamers all the way to the Supreme Court, and we beat Donald Trump. What we have to do is make sure that Trump cannot invade California, and you can't stop him if you've got a governor like Steve Hilton, who is his dad. Donald Trump's his daddy, and he will protect him all the way through.
Thank you, Secretary Becerra. Mr. Hilton, I'll let you respond to that, and I have a question for you, Mr. Steyer, after that.
I don't want to respond to silly name calling, but I'd like to actually respond to something Katie said. And I think it's probably a sincere policy difference between us. She said something very revealing, which is the only way really that California's economy has been growing in the last few years is through illegal immigration. And I just don't think that's the right way for us to be growing. I think we need to help small businesses create jobs and opportunity, and for Californians to be able to earn more and live the California dream, and for entrepreneurs to want to start businesses in California. That's how we should be growing our economy, not by illegal immigration.
Congresswoman Porter?
I mean, given that you're an immigrant and you added to our
Illegal
population
immigrant.
and we're all having to live with the consequences of that decision.
Katie, there's a difference I think you'll accept between legal and illegal immigration.
Yes, and I wasn't referring to, I was saying that immigration has been a major source of growth in California's economy, and that is true.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Mr. Steyer, I've got a question for you on immigration, because you want California's Attorney General to be able to hold both ICE agents and their leadership criminally liable for what you say is, quote, violent illegal conduct on the job. Does that include the former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who oversaw the ICE operations in Los Angeles last year?
It's Eastern California accent.
The governor of
he's
California
from England.
should hold
he's
people
the guy from
accountable
Fox News.
who break the laws of California, specifically including ICE agents and the people who send them to racially profile, which is illegal, and use violence against Californians, which is illegal. And it should go up the chain to the supervisors, right up to Stephen Miller. If he's sending people to racially profile and hurt Californians or kill Californians, he should be held liable. It is not legal for federal agents to come to California and break the law. It is absolutely critical that California's governor does stand up for everyone in California.
Does he even live here?
That in fact, ICE to me is a criminal operation. I've said all along, we should abolish ICE. It's breaking the law. It is coming here deliberately to break the law. And that's why I'm saying we should hold them accountable. We should inspect the detention centers that they have in secret.
What is
just
that?
to
We should have
clarify,
a
Mr.
legal
Steyer.
defense fund. Yes, I do.
Where's the
I don't know.
bear?
I would go all the way up the chain. I've gone as far as Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller should be held accountable for what the ICE agents do in California that he sends.
But just to clarify, since Kristi Noem
you
was
check
the
that out
Senate
in the
confirmed
law, or-
Department of Homeland Security Secretary, do you believe that she is someone who should be prosecuted?
If she has given the orders to break the law in California, yes.
Sheriff
Caitlin, I have
Bianco,
to
what's
be
your
able
response to
to
that?
prove it.
No one has broken the law in California. And this
Why
is
are you even
why we
asking
fight
him?
in the streets and people are out rioting, burning down Los Angeles, because politicians like this sit and lie to everyone.
Where's that happening?
They
'Cause
get
it's
them
not.
all infuriated up with emotion because they don't want to tell the truth. ICE agents are enforcing the law. And sanctuary state policy, Democrats forced ICE into our cities and streets and neighborhoods to find these criminals. And I want Mr. Villaraigosa to tell the mother of the 14-year-old in my county that is dead because of an illegal immigrant that had been deported 3 times because of DUIs that sanctuary state policy keeps us safe. I don't think she's going to agree with you. And the mother of my dispatcher that was killed is not going to agree
Mayor
with you.
What about,
Villaraigosa, do you
what
want
If
to
about
an
all the
undocumented-
sexual assaults from your officers, Chud? What about that? What about all the police abuse or sheriff abuse and shit that you've been charged with over the years? Come on now. Come on, girl.
Do you want to
If an
respond?
undocumented worker killed somebody, he should go to jail. He should be prosecuted.
It's too late, don't you think? How about the 3
Do you
DUIs
wanna let
before
me
that?
finish?
No.
Or do you want
because
to be the
no.
bully that you always are?
No,
You know, you're an oath keeper. We all know that.
and I'm very proud of it.
No, well, you should.
I'm very proud of
Well,
it.
I'm
And
sorry.
guess what? You're
I'm
going to
sorry.
swear an oath, and you swore an oath. You should know what you were
Well,
swearing
I'm
and be
sorry.
proud of defending
I
it.
don't think an oath keeper is qualified to be governor.
I don't think
of
you know what
California.
an oath keeper
But let
is.
me answer the question. I said, If an undocumented person committed
And that's
murder,
it, folks.
they should be held
That's where
accountable.
we're at.
They should go to jail.
Welcome to California.
And you keep on saying that sanctuary prevents violent criminals from
No,
being
I didn't.
turned over.
I said it prevents
In fact,
criminals.
as I said earlier.
I said it prevents criminals. Don't lie for me.
In fact, as I said earlier, thousands have been turned over since 2019.
Obviously
And
not
to
enough.
Steve Hilton, let me be clear. You know, I know you're recently arrived to California, but if you've read the Bay Area Institute, the UC Merced study, immigrants, if we took them all out, including the undocumented, it would be a $274 billion hit to the California
Sheriff Bianco,
economy.
just to follow up on what you were just saying there, and you said you're a proud oath keeper. Are you referring to the group?
I've sworn an oath 3 times to
Or you're
defend my
referring to taking
Constitution.
an oath and- as
yes,
your
and
job?
everybody that wants to, like, again, lie and emotionally get all spun up about the Oath Keeper organization, I just would, before you do that, and I know none of you have, I want you to go read the mission statement of the Oath Keeper mission statement and the
I saw them on
ACLU.
CNN attacking the Capitol.
And the ACLU. I saw a politician molesting kids. Does that mean you molest kids?
What?
Exactly. Don't pull those stupid statements out and
sir,
expect to not be
you're
called
an oath
out.
keeper.
But Sheriff Bianco,
You
just
have
to be
no
clear,
reason to.
There is
you're not
absolutely
qualified to
I
be
just wanna
governor of
clarify.
California.
I am extremely proud of swearing an oath to defend my
boy.
Constitution against politicians like this.
And do you still consider yourself a member of that group, to be clear?
No.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff Bianco. Secretary Becerra, on the question itself, do you also support prosecuting
Since it's getting a little hot in here, Katie, no.
the leadership of ICE?
I think we should police Donald Trump's masked mercenary force that they call ICE. I think we should prosecute any of the forces that violate the law. And I think we should jail anyone who has violated the law. That goes all the way to the top.
I
If
agree.
anyone has violated the laws of California, they should serve time.
And I'm telling you, no one has.
That's, there are 2 people who are dead in Minneapolis because they were simply doing
Don't
their
lie.
civic duty and being able to
Your
act
civic
under
duty
the
is
Constitution.
bringing a gun and fighting with cops. Your civic duty is to try and run over cops. Come on.
Well,
You've already been
A
called
lot
out
of
about
oath
your other
keepers
difference.
brought
evidence-
guns to
the
the
evidence will
Capitol,
come out.
Mr.
Let's
Bianco.
just be honest.
Sheriff Bianco, as the member of law enforcement here, last week the Department of Justice sued the state of New Jersey because the governor there signed into law a mask ban for ICE agents. A similar law in California was blocked last month. Do you believe that ICE agents who are conducting immigration enforcement should be able to wear a mask when they're on the job?
I believe that the state of California doesn't get to dictate what they do. Would I do I allow my deputies to do that? In certain circumstances. So the answer would be, I guess, yes, because depending on the circumstances that the federal government has jurisdiction over that, they can decide what they want to do. My deputies doing their work don't do that, but there are some circumstances where deputies and police officers would do that. So if we're honest and talk about what this really does and what it is,
You mean worse than he's already
everyone
done,
would come up
Oren?
with a logical
Really?
answer. But when you
Okay.
talk about emotions and you fire off emotions and untruths, I think they get offended with lies, but untruths, then you just confuse and
But
and
Chad,
mess
you're
up the
not
entire
you're not being honest about the impacts.
That's
look,
a chilling answer.
I was just
Yeah, that's a chilling answer.
There is
yeah.
no
I mean, look, we can all agree that we should have a secure border. If you're committing serious and violent crime, deportation is the consequence. But I was just in the fashion district on the side of downtown Los Angeles, where I met with small business owners who have tears in their eyes because they don't have customers anymore, because Donald Trump's cruel and indiscriminate enforcement based on the color of people's skins, the language they're speaking, it has terrorized a community. It's targeting the Latino community. It is disproportionately
Thank
impacting
you,
our
Mayor
immigrant
Mahan.
neighbors.
Congresswoman Porter, what's your view? What's your response?
Donald Trump sucks. And I don't think that anyone who doesn't see that he is targeting and hurting Californians and won't stand up for everybody who is counting on them to be their leader and keep them safe has no business being governor.
Congresswoman Porter, thank you for that. Mr. Hilton?
Antonio mentioned me earlier and said I just recently arrived. It's true. I arrived here in 2012 with my wife and my 2 sons. But what's interesting is that I don't think there's an appreciation of the difference between legal and illegal immigration. I've spent many, many times right here in East LA, where we are, with legal immigrants, with families of legal immigrants who really resent the unfairness that we're seeing in California, where you have illegal immigrants who are getting free benefits, housing, welfare. And they say to me, look, we did it the right way.
That's
we
not
worked
true.
hard.
That's
we
not
came
true.
the right way.
Candidates,
yet
don't worry.
We are not getting fairness, and we need to restore fairness in our system.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton. And candidates, don't worry, we have many more questions to come up from both of us ahead, and much more of CNN's California governor primary debate right after this.
The California governor.
Oh, holy shit. We are fucked. Welcome to California. Welcome to California. Yeah, I think we should just give California back to the people who were here when everybody got here and fucked it all up. And then we'll just start over again, try and help each other. Yeah, boy, they're spending a lot of time talking to the talking to the Republicans, aren't they? That's great. That's great, because that's what we need. That's what people need. It's not the Democrat Party that needs some whittling down. It's the two goddamn ass clowns from the Republican Party. Yeah, it's all a bunch of bullshit. And you know what's really frustrating? Gosh, this thing is just not doing my thing here. I think I know why. I did a wrong thing. I did a bad thing. Oops, I did a real bad thing. This is just a very difficult decision, and I'm very curious to see what kind of galvanizing happens, or energy. It seems like there's still energy, or going into this tonight, there was a lot of energy around Becerra. I'm curious to see what this does. And I don't know. I feel like we're just going to have to hold on. I'll get the chat back. Hold on. We're just going to have to hope to God that we make it to some kind of reasonable governor / legislature. But I don't know. I still think the only two that seem viable to me are Becerra and Porter. I can't imagine. I miss the days when I could vote for Green Party. I know, Heather, and the Green Party. Oh shit, I did it again. I fucked up. The Green Party candidate, I heard a little bit from him. I should probably look at him a little bit more, but he was just goofy, and I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not going to vote for a goofy. I'm not voting for a goofy kid. I'm so sorry. And that's just me. You can vote for the goofy kid if you want. I don't want to vote for the goofy kid. I really wish that the Green Party would get their shit together, and they have so many serious people in that party. I know there should be some galvanizing. But again, I don't really care what party. I want pro-democracy. I want everyone to have rights, and I want our governor to say and lead when it comes to, helping people understand and care for each other. And that is what the governor can do in that regard. They can help set the tone of how we're going to treat each other. And that's always been, the good part of having a Democrat. Has been that at least there's been kind of we've maintained some of that left-leaning kind of compassion for people and things like that. Not all the time, so don't get me wrong. Gavin Newsom is a mess and a half. He just is. But yeah. So I don't know. I think Katie Porter might just be. I don't know. I don't know. She's a little corporate for me. I don't know. I mean, she did stand up to corporations and stuff like that when it came to questioning. she did have those issues with, whatever. But I also know that women can be attacked when they're in leadership roles. When they're in leadership roles to really, be targeted and told that they're like not acceptable and that they're too angry and they're too this and they're too that. So that is kind of, that can be really that can be true. That can be something that is true and kind of misleading about someone's position and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know what she was like to work with. I don't know what she can do with the legislature, whether or not she can work with the legislature. I think it's really important for the governor to be able to do that in this state. So
Democrats to Republicans, all battling it out. Two spots on the ballot in November.
He's also kind
the
of
next governor of California, as we all know and have talked about tonight, will have to work with President Trump for the next 2 years. Congresswoman Porter, you recently put out an email, a fundraising email, with the subject line F Trump. And you're not censoring it like I am right now. And you went on to say, quote, "That's right, F Trump. Together we're going to kick Trump's ass in November." Will F Trump be your guiding principle in dealing with the president?
When Donald Trump hurts California, as he has again and again, then I will absolutely stand up to him 100%. He has denied wildfire funding to help disaster victims here in California. He has made it clear that he is seeking to specifically punish California in canceling green energy projects here that create good, high-paying jobs while he's allowing them to continue in other states. We absolutely have to be clear about the risk that Donald Trump presents to Californians and to our economy and to our ability to change California for the better. So if he's going to attack California, yeah, F him.
Mr. Hilton?
I think the next governor of California will have to work with the administration and with the president that the American people elected to get good results for Californians. And by the way, my attitude will be to work with the president regardless of party to get good results for Californians. Now, it so happens that we have a president who has endorsed me for governor, and we've discussed how I can work with his team to lower gas prices in California by opening up energy production, to reduce wildfire risk by proper forest management, to get the fraud and the waste out of our state budget so we can cut taxes. These are all practical ways we can work together to help everyone
Thank you, Mr.
in
Hilton.
California
Secretary
watching.
Becerra, what's your view of that as someone who served in the federal government?
Well, I served and we helped the state of California when I was at the Department of Health and Human Services. But when I was Attorney General, when Trump was president the first time, we took him on. Every time he tried to attack our state, when he tried to force us to do things that were against the law, when he tried to deny us our resources, we took him on. That's why I had to go toe-to-toe with him in court over 120 times. And most of those cases, we were able to win. I will tell you this, whether it was on women's health care, whether it was protecting immigrants' rights, whether it was defending our environmental laws, we took him on. And because Donald Trump doesn't understand the laws very well, we were able to beat him over and over, including taking the Affordable Care Act all the way to the Supreme Court and defending it.
Mayor Mahan, on that fundraising email and that phrasing that the Congresswoman used, I mean, do you believe that F Trump is a good guiding principle as the governor of California in working with the federal government?
What to do.
Well, Caitlin, look, my approach is to fight for our values. As mayor of San Jose, I've sued the Trump administration multiple times, increased funding for our immigrant neighbors who are under attack. We've prohibited ICE from using city property as a staging area. But I will also never forget that the best resistance is delivering results, showing that California's progressive values work in practice. That's what I've done as mayor. One of the only people on this stage who can point to real results that matter in people's lives. Safest big city in the country, 1/3 fewer homeless people, thousands of homes under construction.
Thank you, Mayor
Thousands of new small businesses, real results, not a lot of rhetoric. That's not going to beat Donald Trump.
Sheriff Bianco?
Yeah, I promise every single person out there that you're not going to hear one word from me about President Trump, President Biden, or anything else, because I'm going to be the only one on the stage that's actually going to be the governor of California for Californians. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you and blame somebody else for our problems that have been absolutely caused by 70 years of Democrat rule in the Assembly and Senate and 16 years of one-party rule by their policies, They're things that they put in place that have destroyed the ability to live in
Thank you,
California.
Sheriff Bianco. Mr. Steyer, what's your take on this?
Look, I started an organization in 2017 to impeach Donald Trump because I've been in enough boardrooms to know a crook when I see one, and he is a crook. And what we can see that he's doing now is he's sending in ICE agents to racially profile and harass Californians. He started a war that's driving up our gas prices, is taking tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars that we need for schools and for healthcare away from us. He's kicking people off healthcare. The truth of the matter is the governor of California is supposed to stand up for Californians against anyone. And that is exactly the only thing that Donald Trump,
Thank you, Mr. Steyer.
the only thing he respects is strength. He's a bully, and the only thing you can do is stand up to him.
All right. Now let's turn more about the healthcare crisis in America. Millions of people are dropping insurance coverage after Congress allowed Obamacare subsidies to expire. In California, new enrollments are down 32%. Secretary Becerra, in late March, you said you'd, quote, deliver a state-run, publicly funded health care program for every Californian. But in a recent meeting, you reportedly told a group of doctors that you are not supporting single payer right now. So which is it? Would you push for single payer as governor or not?
Oh, let's be clear. I've been consistent for over 30 years. When I was in Congress, I talked about how Medicare for all is probably the most efficient way that we can do healthcare, and I have always been there. I haven't changed. And so those reports were inaccurate. I continue to be for Medicare for all, and I can show you how I have actually expanded
Chimney
healthcare
Rock.
because those very subsidies that you mentioned are what help us reach record levels of Obamacare coverage. More than 24.5 million people under our watch were able to get their health insurance coverage. That is now going down because Trump has denied people the chance to have those subsidies. And the Republicans and Mr. Hilton, who has been endorsed by Donald Trump, haven't said whether they would fight to help those Californians regain their coverage. And so, Steve, will you support having those tax subsidies for Obamacare returned to those Californians who are losing their insurance today?
We didn't get an answer.
We're gonna. First of all, I just want to clarify real quick, and then we'll get you guys in. So, as governor, you're pushing for a single-payer system in California?
We should try to get to a Medicare for all program. And while we are continuing to work in that direction, we should make sure we are expanding coverage because the most important thing we have to do is give people peace of mind that they can afford their health care and that we will continue to give it to more families.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Steyer.
Look, I am for single payer. Absolutely, because the only way we can deliver health care as a right at a cost that California can afford. And that's why the nurses support me. I was with them this morning. They know that I will fight for single payer until we get it. And maybe those reports were wrong, Javier.
You
But
were
the
with
truth
all the
is,
nurses?
the group you are with, the California Medical Association, is the strongest group against single payer in the state. And they just spent the maximum amount of money. They maxed out to your campaign after that meeting. So somebody didn't understand something because they are supporting you with the max amount of money that they can give.
Secretary Becerra responds, then Congresswoman Porter.
Yeah. So a guy who is funding his campaign to a tune of over $150 million with profits made from oil companies, from helping fund private for-profit prisons that are detaining immigrants in California, has a real short memory span of how to make sure this place works. I continue to enjoy the support of healthcare sectors throughout California, doctors, nurses. I've got the endorsement of nurses as well, and I will continue to fight to make sure everyone has access to good quality healthcare in California, as I proved it when I was Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Congresswoman Porter.
Well, golly gee, I also have the endorsement of nurses, so three's a crowd. The question, I think, is trying to aim at, do you support CalCare? California having its own state-run single-payer system, yes or no?
Is that a question?
Sure, go ahead.
As I said, when I was Secretary of Health and Human Services, I was able to.
Is that a yes or a no?
I'm answering the question.
Okay.
So the most important thing about having a Medicare for all plan is that it includes everyone for all. And what we have to do is get to the point where we are covering everyone with something like Medicare for all. So I am absolutely for Medicare for all.
Congresswoman.
And we will get there. We'll build towards it because that's the way you get folks covered. Yeah. That's the way I did it.
Congresswoman Porter, then Mary Ragosa. Congresswoman.
Covering everyone with something is not single payer. It's not even federal Medicare for all. But you won't say that whether you support California having its own state-run single payer system. Look, Tom ran against single payer in his presidency before he changed his mind and has decided to run for single payer. I'm not disputing that, Tom. I'm making sure everyone knows. And you've been consistent on this point. You've been consistent.
I'm going to answer that.
But I want Javier to answer the question. Do you support California having its own single payer system? Yes or no?
And Katie, the answer there is that Californians don't care what you call it so long as they have affordable health care that they can use to take their child to the doctor or the hospital
I'd
when
like
they
to use
need
my
it.
magic wand and give everybody affordable health care.
It's Mayor Villaraigosa's turn. Go ahead, sir.
You know, I believe in that healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
I cannot vote for
that
her.
it should be
I'm
universal,
so sorry. I can't.
affordable, and high quality. But the fact is, Javier, I've been in enough forums with you where I've heard you say you're for it, and I've heard you say you're against it.
I've never said I'm against it.
Hold it.
I've never said it.
Let me finish. I've heard you say that you're against it.
And if it's such a great forum that I said it in.
Can I finish?
If you could just point the forum that I said it, because I've never said it. So
we've been
say
at
I've said
many
something if I've
forums
never
where
said
you
it.
said it, but let me finish the point. It's a $500 billion price tag. You need the federal government. You need Donald Trump to approve it. Our budget is only 350 plus, and next year we're looking at $18 to $35 billion deficit. People like you are the reason why we keep on spending more than we got. So at the end of the day, let's be clear about this. This is pie in the sky. Yes, we all would like to have health care that's affordable.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
But we won't have a
Secretary Becerra, your
billion
response to that argument that this is just too expensive for California. Your response.
Look, healthcare is expensive, but what we have to do is reduce the cost and expand the coverage to everyone. And that's what I did as secretary. They can ignore those points. They can lie about them. But the fact is, by the time I left the secretary position at HHS, we had expanded coverage to more Americans than ever in the history. And we had dropped the cost of care for millions of Americans under Obamacare.
And
those are
healthcare-
facts.
It's $550 billion price
Mr.
tag.
Hilton, to you, the idea of single-payer health care.
Just listen to these Democrats arguing about whether to go left or even further left when that's the direction that's got us into this mess. The highest cost, the highest taxes in the country. I'm the only person here with actual experience of single-payer healthcare, both as a patient and as a policymaker. As a patient, it nearly killed me. That's another story we don't have time for. As a policymaker, you end up with the worst patient satisfaction, cost that you can't afford, taxes sky high to pay for it. It is a total disaster. And the actual way we deal with healthcare in this state is to at least stop spending $20 billion a year on free healthcare for illegal immigrants who shouldn't even be in the country in the first place.
And he's referencing his time as a UK citizen before moving to California. Mr. Mayor.
Once again, we're hearing a lot of rhetoric at the extreme ends of the political spectrum here. When the secretary left his position, healthcare spending was a bigger share of GDP than ever before, pushing families to the brink. It's an administrative nightmare, as everybody knows if they've ever tried to get an insurance claim filed. We're not talking about the real issue here. And Antonio's right. All the candidates who are fighting for single payer don't know how to pay for it, and they're not being honest about it. The reality is our healthcare system is broken. 30% of the cost in California is an administrative cost. We can use technology to bring down those costs. Number two, we are not incentivizing health. We reward fee for service, more procedures, more prescription drugs. We should reward doctors and health systems for making people healthier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Steyer, this next question is for you.
Alex,
It's on the same topic, so you can use some of your time for that. In last year's budget, Governor Gavin Newsom cut healthcare funding for undocumented immigrants to address a budget gap. As governor, would you restore that funding?
I believe everybody in California has a right to health care. But the truth of the matter is, it is eating up our budget. And it's more than that, Alex. It is eating up every single family. You talked about how many people are giving up healthcare so they can make healthcare so they can make rent. You're talking about businesses that can't compete because healthcare is so expensive. And it is eating up the budget of the state of California. When people sit here and say, let's do the same thing, we can't afford to do the same thing. It is eating up our budget. Look at the numbers. That's why I changed my mind, Katie, because I looked at the facts. Single-payer healthcare systems cost half as much as the system in total that we have now. And yes, it's going to be a big, job to get us to single payer. But the truth is, we don't have a choice because right now, people are suffering. They're giving up healthcare. Every medical crisis turns into a financial disaster. The truth is, we don't have a choice but to go to single payer. And you need somebody who's going to fight for it. The person who's going to fight for it.
Why do they cost less, though?
To clarify, Mr. Steyer, on the question of health care for the undocumented,
I said everybody in California has a right to health care. And let's answer
California
this out.
should fund that.
The truth of the matter is, immigrants built this state. Immigrants make this state run.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, we had a broken immigration system, and now you want to victimize the people who are working here and making the state run.
Thank you,
As
sir.
Antonio said, try and get rid of them. You can't do it.
Let's go to Sheriff Bianco. Your thoughts on this idea of undocumented healthcare funding?
It's ridiculous. We're encouraged.
No,
when are we
but as
going
long
to
as
draw the
he
line at any other crime?
Shows up.
It's illegal.
you know.
They entered the country illegally. We're not going to incentivize them to come here to take more of the resources that regular Californians aren't getting. The ones that are struggling here, that are here legally, they're not getting that. They're not getting free education. They're not getting free medical. They're not getting free food. They're not getting all of those things that the illegal ones are getting. And we're somehow celebrating that when the legal immigrants here don't get that. It makes absolutely no sense. And healthcare, no one's talking about, how about we try and make people healthy?
So, Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding health care for undocumented immigrants
Back
statewide?
away from the chili cheese dogs, then, Chad.
Yes, and
that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve as answers to these questions, Alex.
And for critics who say that we can't afford it, what do you say to that?
We can't afford to have people who are sick, who are making the rest of us sick. When anyone doesn't have care, when anyone doesn't have care, the rest of us are at risk. When people don't get vaccinations, when they don't go to the doctor, they wind up in the emergency room. They cause longer lines for the rest of us. They make our healthcare system, they push it to the brink. And that was exactly where we were when we expanded healthcare and health coverage to make sure that everyone can be healthy. The direction that got us into this mess is Democrats catering to big pharmaceutical companies and big insurance companies, which Mr. Becerra has taken $2 million from in his career and still won't give us a yes or no answer on where he stands. Every other candidate on the stage gave an answer on single payer, and it was clear. He's the only one who won't. And to me, with healthcare on the line, that's disqualifying.
Thank you.
Secretary Becerra, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, first, immigrants, whether documented or not, work hard. They pay taxes, and sometimes they get injured on the job or their children get sick. It would be foolish to tell a family that they don't have access to the pediatrician or the family doc, or not be able to use the community health center where it wouldn't cost us so much to give them access to good health care. Instead, what will happen is that child will get so ill that they will have to take that child to the hospital. And what door do they enter? The most expensive door in the healthcare system, the emergency room door. Why do that and spend so much money when you can do it up front? And so, yes, let us provide the care to all the people who work hard and make California
Secretary
a better place.
Becerra, thank you for that. I have a question for you on another issue that has come up repeatedly during this campaign. You're actually part of a lawsuit against Sheriff Bianco here over his seizure of more than 500,000 ballots.
That's correct.
That was brought up earlier in Riverside County from last year's election. He says he's investigating allegations of election fraud. Election officials say that those claims aren't valid. Do you believe that the sheriff here committed a crime?
The sheriff is supposed to enforce the law. In this case, Sheriff Bianco violated the law. There are ways that you treat ballots. You have to maintain the integrity of every ballot. So you know, I know, we all know that no one will tamper with your ballot. There is a chain of custody requirement that the law says you have to follow in order to let that ballot move anywhere. Sheriff Bianco,
I believe he broke the law.
Sheriff Bianco didn't follow that process. He violated the law.
We're not talking about
Hey, Canada. I heard someone in the chat today call it separatwats. Instead of separatists, they called them separatwats from Alberta. I thought that was pretty. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. Yeah, this guy's Riverside County. He's like San Diego? I don't even know. Where does he have? I don't even know what he has, but he's way down there. He's an asshole.
Not talking
as
about
the
elections.
sheriff. So
Yeah.
absolutely, that's why we are suing
talking
him
about
to
the
get back
election.
the ballots. He cannot claim
that's
under
not the
cover of an
lawsuit.
investigation that he has the right to take these ballots and break that chain of custody. That's against the law. That's why we're suing, and that's why he's going to lose in the Supreme Court.
Sheriff Bianco?
It's not true. None of that is true. This is all political so he could get his name in the papers that he's suing for all of
It
this.
is
It's all
true,
garbage.
Sheriff Bianco.
You don't know anything about it.
Yes, I
so-
do.
Can I
It is
answer?
true.
Can I answer?
You broke the law.
Can I answer? I am tasked, elected and tasked with enforcing the law in Riverside County. And part of that is fraud. Election fraud is against the law. There is absolutely nothing we did that was illegal. And the real issue here is the Attorney General just doesn't want them counted. So the issue at stake in the Supreme Court is whether he has the authority to order me to not do an investigation. That's all this is. Don't lie. You two have no idea what was going on in that investigation.
Secretary Becerra,
You're
your
making it
response?
political.
Yeah, he's being sued by the Attorney General, but he's also being sued by those of us who want to protect the ballot. And what we're saying, Sheriff, is if you're going to try to get a ballot, follow the law. The law is pretty clear. All you had to do was read the law. You cannot take ballots, confiscate them, and count them yourself. You have to have people who are trained and
the judge
authorized to
agreed.
do that.
We can,
You
and the
cannot
judge
do that.
agreed.
That's why the Supreme Court has stopped you from being
Mr.
able to
Hilton,
count
what's your
ballots.
view of
That's a
this?
lie.
My view is that it's a bit rich for Javier to talk about following the law when he is mired personally in a corruption scandal where his former chief of staff, Sean McCluskey, when Javier was appointed by Joe Biden to be health secretary, he wanted his chief of staff to go with him. The salary wasn't enough. So what did they do? They took money from Javier's campaign account to top up his salary by funneling it to Dana Williamson, Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, so that it was paid to this guy's wife.
Secretary
All of that
Becerra, I
is
want you-
illegal. It is against state law. It's against federal law. My running mate for Attorney General, Michael Gates, has this evening written to Javier Becerra to make it clear that when he is Attorney General, Javier will be investigated
Thank you.
and,
And
if
Mr.
necessary,
Hilton-
prosecuted for these crimes.
Mr. Hilton, just to clarify on the question about the seizure of the ballots in Riverside County, do you believe that Sheriff Bianco took the right step there?
I'm not going to weigh in on something that I don't have the knowledge of the facts on. I trust that Chad is interested in what we should all be interested in, which is ensuring the integrity of our elections and restoring faith in our elections in California. That's why I support voter ID in California. Let's see what these Democrats think of voter
And
ID.
Secretary Becerra, your response to Mr. Hilton.
Yeah, first, Steve, read the law. In order to remove ballots, you have to follow a process. Sheriff Bianco didn't follow it. If you're not going to enforce the law as governor, then why would you want to sit in the office? But
Well, if you're going to break the
Probably
law,
the same fraud you
Okay, point about
investigated while you were
accountability.
Attorney General.
This issue, Steve, again, read the indictment. I was not involved in the actions that
it
were
was
being
your chief of
prosecuted.
staff.
Well, actually, Javier,
Let
you
me, if I
signed the
could just
campaign
finish the
Let's let Secretary
just
Becerra
I know
finish
where
the-
all my
sign the
money
campaign
goes.
Finish the
Secretary
response.
Becerra, go ahead.
Yeah, Steve, if you knew the law, you have to have basis to sue to go after someone criminally. I am not involved in that action. Now,
It was
you
your
can
chief
sit-
of staff, and it was your
and the
decision
people who
because
your money.
people who may
you
have
were the one
violated the
hired
law
to
will
go
be
to
held-
Washington as health secretary,
Let
and you
Secretary
wanted him. You
let
wanted this
Secretary
guy
Becerra
by your
respond.
side, and the reason that the money was
Steve,
transferred
no-
is because the
Steve-
salary wasn't high enough,
Steve,
and
if I
that's
could
why
just-
you engaged in this scheme, which is illegal under state law and
Secretary Becerra,
federal law.
continue responding.
So you notice that nowhere in the indictment is anything that Steve said included there. If you violate the law, you will be prosecuted. No one is above the law. You will be held accountable. If I had been involved, the U.S. attorney would have had me in that indictment. I was not involved. But here's what I will say. Steve, I hope you speak as ferociously about Donald Trump's violation of the law every time you're sitting in the governor's office trying to protect the people of California, because the last thing we need is to have an executive who
say that.
continues to violate the rights of Californians and have a governor who just sits back and agrees with that executive named Donald Trump.
All right, let's talk about housing. Skyrocketing costs, severe shortages have made the state unlivable for many. Overall home ownership rates are at their lowest since the 1940s.
Yeah, he's a citizen.
Mr. Hilton, you say that California needs to, quote, end the war on single-family homes. Your housing plan focuses on the building of single-family homes. over high-density multifamily developments. Why do you think that's the best approach?
And just today, I launched a new plan for starter homes in California. One of the most heartbreaking things I see is young people, they come to our events, and I ask them, do you ever see yourself owning a home in California, starting a family here? And they say no, and we're going to have to leave. And that's why we've got to enact a very straightforward plan. Number one, we have to get rid of the regulations that make it 2 or 3 times as expensive to build the exact same home in California as in neighboring states. We have to stop the lawsuits filed by the unions who support these Democrats that get in the way of building housing. And to your point, we have to stop trying to force housing into suburban neighborhoods where people don't want it. Instead, we have to build single-family homes in the places in our state that do want to.
Listen, God damn it, Grace Lisa. I hope nobody falls for this shit, okay? But here's the problem. We've been here before. California has voted in very conservative governors before because we've got Orange County, which is very red voting. We've got parts of the Central Valley, very red voting. We've got Silicon Valley now, apparently very red voting. So, unfortunately, we cannot risk because they could, a conservative governor can really, well, whatever. Yeah, MAGA. I don't know what you want to call him. Republican. I don't know what. Whatever. Dick. I don't know. Prick. But whatever they are, they, yeah, I know. And I love Shasta County. And I love you, Kathy. I mean, I'm so sorry because you live in one of the most beautiful places. But this is the point, is that we shouldn't even be entertaining these MAGA guys because they are no way. I'm sorry. I'm real clear on this. We do not want them. We do not want them. We do not want them. And because we do have a lot of vulnerable people here, and we've already seen what can happen when the maggots get into some kind of control in our cities and towns, and we need to stop it and stand up very strongly to it. And I just don't know who's going to stand up that strongly. I mean, I hope it would be someone like Becerra. He sounds like he has the cojones to stand up to, and negotiate and work with the legislature to actually come up with a plan. I mean, a single single payer, or however it is structured, is going to be a complex structure, which is why I would hope that there would be some thought about the larger, back of the napkin kind of swaths about how to do this. Yeah, you can buy a 2-bedroom condo, and you can? Oh, I don't know. Oh, anyway. Point is that you could there's a lot of Republican and in the north and Chino and all that, or Chico rather, there's a ton of fucking red out there in California. So the fact that this primary is structured the way that it is really, really frightening. And I just hope that the Democrats can get their act together and pull their heads out of their butts and stop acting like this is a normal weirdo kind of corporate Dem, whatever, corporate Dem primary, and talk about specifics. I mean, really bring us all along with you for the vision of California that includes everyone, right? Like, bring us along. So anyway, so they're just giving way too much time to maggots that, I'm sorry, are not good for this state. No way, no how.
In the places in our state that do want to expand. Yeah. That's the plan, to make sure that we can restore that California dream of home ownership. It is the heart of opportunity for our young people, and it's being taken away by these Democrats and their policies.
Mayor Mahan, your response.
I'd settle for lower rents.
These guys can talk, but I've actually delivered as mayor of the 3rd largest city in the state. I removed barriers to building thousands of homes that are currently under construction. We added thousands of interim housing placements and brought homeless neighbors indoors, reducing our unsheltered homeless population.
I could tell you a little bit about those homes that he built. So first of all, there's been some problems. Shocker. It's like 1,200 homes since 2024 or 2023, And I also just know anecdotally that I think a lot of people have been dislocated into places like Santa Cruz County, etc. So I don't think that there's been actual solutions necessarily, which of course is hard to do, but whatever. And but you'll never get lower rent if you keep voting. Why? What's the correlation? Tell me what the correlation is. I don't know what the correlation is. Friendly reminders. Yes, please do smash the like. That's right. This is why San Jose I know. I that's where I'm from, and I don't really like him. I don't think he's good. I think he's basically like either like a weird libertarian or kind of a dark enlightenment or whatever. I don't know. I think he's just down. He's basically a Republican to me, just in terms of the way he wants to like transactionize everything and AI everything, and which I think there probably are some efficiencies that could be found in healthcare, for example. But I think that the healthcare question is a huge, very complicated question. And so I would expect someone not necessarily to have like, I would expect for them to have some kind of like, kind of milquetoast response. But yes, please pause when you want to say something. God, would you pause when you want to say something? I wish you would. Yeah, Rick Caruso. That's pretty much all you need to say down here. He's a dick. He's also a Republican acting like he's some kind of Democrat or pro-democracy person. But anyway. I love it. We're getting some trolling. That's so great. I didn't add a bot. No, I did not add a bot. Isn't that weird? I don't have bots on my channels. But no, we're getting them. I don't know, but I did put subscription only on the vertical because there was a lot of people like saying things that are really weird. So I put that on there. So, but we only have 3 people watching in the vertical. Anyway, just wanted to say that. Thank you very much for your attention.
Sheltered homeless population by 1/3. We've led the state in building ADUs and making it easy for people to put backyard cottages in for a child returning home from college or a grandparent. I'm the only candidate on the stage who has actually taken on the bureaucracy, the red tape, reduced fees and permitting times, and delivered housing for working people.
Mayor Villaraigosa.
Well, actually, I built more market rate, affordable, workforce, and homeless housing in 8 years in the middle of a recession than they did in the 12 years before me. So you're not the only one on this stage that has done that. But I want to return to what was just mentioned. Look, the fact of the matter is Javier Becerra's chief of staff has been indicted. A number of people have been indicted. Javier signed those documents. He said that he thought $10,000 wasn't a lot to maintain that account.
Are you
Well, he actually
kidding?
had 2 accounts. The other one he paid.
Are you kidding? He's funding Pratt for mayor, Kim. Spencer Pratt from fucking, hi, sweetheart. From the Hills. That Spencer Pratt, that fucking idiot. I'm going to tell you right now, that's another race that I need to pay some attention to, is the mayor of Los Angeles. I'm a NIMBY. Oh, really? Oh, no, you're not, Kim. I can't believe that. No, yeah, there was, Mahan's record on housing isn't as great as he claims it is. And there's, some pretty simple searches that can give you some data on that. Pratt for mayor, what a crook. Reality TV. I know, Pepper. It's Spencer Pratt. Who's funding him? Who's funding him? Yeah, in the cult of Lolo's lounge, we never disagree. Wait, let's have a little musical. We're going to have fun tonight if we're going to have to do this. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, don't be such an asshole.
Lolo's lounge is where we meet under velvet screens. Trivia's flying like arrows, high answers seek release. Medieval tunes kick up the beat, feel the ancient peace. Dragons roaring in the air.
There.
Jesters paint the scene. Candles flicker, casting spells on curious minds so keen. Prancing on a tapestry. Knowledge deep and wide. Step right up a grand affair. Take a wisdom ride. Lolo is calling you. Know the answers fine.
I can't remember the words.
Tales and trivia rule your
minds. It's the trivia song.
Torchlight guides the way. Banners dance in endless lore. Trivia is in play.
Welcome to the court of Lolo, where we all have the same opinion. I don't want Republicans in my backyard. I'm not a NIMBY. I don't care who's in my backyard. You know what? Stay out of my backyard. That's what I want. Leave me alone. Woo! I just started drooling. I am so hungry. I can't even tell you how hungry I am. Okay, wait. I'm gonna stop now. I'm so sorry. It's a very long song. Hold on. Now I don't know where it is. Oh, wait. It's here. It's in front of me. I could have just turned it off. You could have just clipped your heels 3 times and gone home anytime you wanted to. Well, that was fun. Thank you. Thank you for letting me do that. I really love you guys. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
And he paid $1,500 for. So the fact is, he may not be indicted at this point, but he has to be under suspicion because it doesn't pass the smell test.
Secretary Becerra.
As I said, anyone who violates the law should be held accountable. If people want to judge me on what I've done. I expanded healthcare to more Americans than anyone in the history of the country serving as secretary. I was able to negotiate for the first time ever lower drug prices as Secretary of Health and Human Services. I took on Donald Trump when he tried to attack the state of California over and over again. If you want to judge me on the things that I've done, not on spurious claims made by people who are trying to become governor of the state of California.
Let's talk about homelessness. Mayor Mahan, this question's for you. California has among the highest homeless rates in the country. Sheriff Bianco takes issue with the term homeless itself. He says, quote, we will quit calling it homeless. This is not about homes. They don't even want homes. They're perfectly happy where they are. Do you agree that Californians sleeping on the streets don't want homes?
Well, look, first of all, I just have to set the record straight on Javier's touting his experience. The Biden administration, President Biden, openly talked about firing him, had to sideline him during COVID because he wasn't delivering results. And I am still in shock in this debate that despite being given the opportunity 3 times in a row by Katie, he was unable to clearly answer the most important question on healthcare as our former Secretary of Health and Human Services.
That question. I answered
on
it very
homelessness,
clearly.
though, I can't let that slide. I'm sorry.
Sure.
The facts matter. On homelessness,
I did answer the question.
I have led the
that.
state in reducing unsheltered homelessness by finding a balanced approach that is compassionate but also accountable.
It's not
I stood up to the system that was building millions.
There's actually a lot of criticism around the projects, which, is not abnormal. So it's not all on him, but there's actually a lot of luxury units being built instead of as opposed to lower affordable income housing. So Matt's painting kind of a rosy picture of something that isn't quite as rosy as he's painting, but he did try to do some things, I guess. I don't know.
The system that was building $1 million a door solutions, taking years on end, and said this is never going to scale. We're building basic, dignified shelter. We're working with our county to expand inpatient treatment. And when those beds are available,
character
we're
arc might
requiring that people
disappoint
come
you.
indoors. That's a pragmatic approach. It's leading the state. It's what we need to do in every city and county in California.
Sheriff
Alex,
Bianco,
can I
the
just say-
issue of homelessness, then we'll bring you in, Mr. Steyer. Sheriff Bianco.
Yeah, so this has nothing to do with homes, and it's unfortunate for the people there that they were just relocated to a hard roof instead of a tent so he could run for governor, because he had 4 years to do that and chose not to, but right before he runs for governor, he has to relocate all of them. The bottom line is this: that's not compassionate, because they're still under the influence of drugs, they're still experiencing mental health issues, they're still experiencing the combination of both, and we are not giving them the treatment that they need. This is not about homes, this is about mental health treatment, drug and alcohol treatment, most importantly, the combination of both. And it is not compassion if we are not going to give them.
We're going to give the mayor a chance to respond, and then we'll bring Steyer into the
Yeah, I
conversation.
mean, it's interesting. In fact, first of all, more than half of the candidates on the stage have visited San Jose to see our success in interim housing. We've added thousands of units, moved thousands of people indoors. And just in the 3 years that I have been mayor, we have graduated about 30% of those people to permanent housing. Yeah. We're saving lives, fewer deaths on our streets, fewer tent encampments. In fact, right now we're in the midst of resolving the last large tent encampment in the city of San Jose. Those are the kinds of results we need to see statewide.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Steyer, the issue of homelessness.
I'm going to jump in. Homelessness is very important. But the number one problem in California is Californians can't afford to live here. And the number one issue on affordability is housing. And we skipped over it. We didn't really talk about how we're going to build houses in this state. And the truth is, people can talk about permitting, and it's true. I worked for reform of CEQA. They can talk about zoning. We need to build densely around public transportation. And they can talk about constructing offsite. They'll drop costs by at least a third. But what they don't talk about is the cities and counties of this state do not want new housing, because new housing brings in people and they can't afford to pay the health and education costs. That's why the fact that I'm willing to close a corporate loophole and bring in 22. No, but let me say this. This is the key. They will welcome housing if they can afford to take care of the people. And I talked to a mayor on Saturday who said, if you'll do it, I'll support you. And I love it.
I want to
respond to he's talking about raising taxes on small business. When Tom says we're closing a corporate loophole, what he's not telling you is he's raising taxes on commercial property across the board. That means all of your office uses, all your small businesses. That's just going to get passed on to consumers and make the cost of living in California even higher. And it's not going to fund single payer, because that's 10 times more expensive than the revenue he's going to collect.
Mr.
Raising
Steyer?
taxes isn't always the answer, Tom.
How is it possible that he could possibly know what this bill says, since it hasn't been written? The truth is, we're going to give an exception for small businesses. The idea of this is corporations are getting taxed for real estate on their basis in the 1970s. Disney, 10 billion.
Sorry, it's about homelessness.
Caitlin,
this is about
paying real estate taxes
I want to turn
for Disneyland based on the 1970s.
Thank you, Mr. Steyer. I want to turn to issues of leadership, which is something that obviously all of you would be in the position to deal with if you are elected governor. And Mayor Villaraigosa, you actually put out an ad of your own recently that highlighted your opponent here, Congresswoman Katie Porter, threatening to cut off an interview with a reporter. That came after a video surfaced of her berating a member of her staff. If a senior official in your government acted as she did in those videos, would you fire them?
Yes. But let's be clear. That's irrelevant, because one of us will be the next governor. But let me just say something about what Javier Becerra has refused to answer, and that is that your chief of staff was indicted for padding his salary with your campaign funds. You initially on CNN said that you knew that you signed it. You knew that they spent $10,000. And then on the second time on your show, you said you didn't know. The fact is, as I said, I think
That's
you have
not
to
true.
answer. You had two committees. You spent $1,500 for one and $10,000 for
Don't you
the
get
other.
the facts straight? And I hope I
That's
could
a
Mr.
clarify.
Mayor,
I'm sorry, Caitlin.
I want to go to Congresswoman Porter since
Wait, Katie,
she's...
wait, time out,
I'll
Katie.
come to you,
I'm sorry.
Secretary Becerra,
It
but
is
given
my turn.
she's at the center of that ad,
Thank
and you've
you.
put out an ad of your own, now making light of that interaction that you had with your
That's not
staffer,
correct, Caitlin.
which you said you apologized for.
That is not correct. The ad is about showing Californians what they've had a chance to see on this stage tonight and in every other debate stage that we've had, which is that I'm able to take responsibility, I'm able to follow the rules, I'm able to say I'm sorry, and I'm able to do better. Everybody in California had a chance to see me on stage with that reporter in the last debate and see exactly how I conducted myself. Californians can decide for themselves about my temperament based on what they've seen here tonight. And if these boys bullying and bickering hasn't been enough to raise questions about their temperament, I would really challenge that. I have taken responsibility at this point hundreds of times, and that's appropriate because I made a bad decision and I treated someone badly. I apologized 5 years ago for it, and we worked together for 4 more years. What I haven't heard is the people on this stage who have made other bad decisions and other mistakes and other failures of leadership. Not one of them, not one of these men have said in this entire campaign, I've made a mistake. Not for not being able to account for undocumented children who wound up in child labor. You called that MAGA talking points and a hoax, Mr. Becerra. I could go down the line. I don't even want to waste my time on this. I just want to say to California, I have taken responsibility. I have shown that. And what that ad is about, Caitlin, is about showing that I can laugh at myself, I can hold myself to account, and I have the fitness, the temperament, and the best ideas to be governor. And everybody's had a chance to see now in 3 debates how.
Thank you, Congresswoman Porter. And on this issue of leadership, Sheriff Bianco, you've had harsh criticism.
I have to interject. My name has been used several times, and I've
And
patiently
Secretary
waited.
Becerra, I'll come to you
Caitlin, you said that
I'll
the
come
last
to you on
time.
what the Congresswoman said. I promise. Don't worry.
Thank you.
But Sheriff Bianco, on this issue of leadership, I saw the two of you chatting earlier, you and Mr. Hilton. You've actually had some harsh words for your fellow Republican on the stage tonight. You've called him, quote, unethical and dishonest, and said that he is trying to, quote, manipulate Californians and, quote, swindled his way into the Republican side. Are you saying that you don't think Republican voters can trust Mr. Hilton?
I will tell you, I don't know where that came from. I wouldn't tell you in my entire life. I don't think I've used the word swindle. So I don't know if you were quoting something or if you were saying that.
It's a quote from you to The Atlantic.
No, I've never used the word swindle. Have Steve and I disagreed? Absolutely, we have. Have we had our quite big disagreements and battles in this election because he's running his campaign, I'm running mine,
But you're denying that you said these quotes.
No, I'm saying that I don't know where that came from. I would never use the word swindled. But the context, yes, I have said that. It's unethical that I'm the only person up here that their entire existence in their job revolves around honesty, integrity, and leadership. I'm the only one. Right now, lying can get me removed from my job.
Can I just clarify?
Unlike what they're saying.
With you, because this says it's from an interview with KBAK that happened in April of this year, where you said he's trying to figure out how he can manipulate Californians to put him in this position in a time when we know that California Democrats have failed and we are going to vote for a Republican governor, and he has swindled his way into the Republican side, even though he's not.
I probably did say that. I didn't use the word swindled, whatever it was. But that context, I will agree with that 100%.
So
I do believe that.
Okay, so you did say the quote.
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Hilton?
Look, this is a very serious moment for California. The ballots are out. They're in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a really big choice to make, which is, do we go for another 4 years of one-party rule that's given us the highest taxes for the worst results, the highest poverty rate, highest unemployment rate, highest cost of living, serious policy questions, homelessness. We need to stop homelessness and end it. We need to stop funding fiascos like high-speed rail.
Thank you, Mr.
We need to
Hilton.
lift burdens on our business.
Caitlin.
That's what this debate needs
Thank
to
you.
be about. And the only way to get the change we need is to not vote
you,
the
Mr.
same
Hilton.
way and think you're going to get a different result.
I do have to go back to Secretary Becerra, since I did promise you that I would let you respond to that, since Congresswoman Porter invoked your name a few moments ago. She was talking about your leadership. Would you like to respond to her?
Yeah, I think everyone's invoking my name. It's nice to hear my name quite a bit, and they're at least pronouncing it
It shouldn't
correctly.
be.
I will tell you this. Distorting the facts in your quest to be governor is never good. But using Trump lies to try to damage your opponents is worse. And that's what we see happening. Everyone knows that Trump campaigned in 2024 talking about lost kids when there were no such thing as lost kids. To hear these candidates now talk about that, if they're so concerned, why haven't they taken any action to find these lost kids? I think it's shameful for people to use Trump lies to try to gain favor with voters when you know it's not true. Use the facts. We should have a governor who relies on the facts. I will speak the facts when I'm governor because that's what the California voters deserve.
I feel
All right,
compelled to fact check it.
Staying on the topic.
It was a New York Times Pulitzer Prize-winning investigation.
And read the article.
It's not Donald
Antonio.
Trump.
Read the article.
26 Democrats.
All right,
Javier.
Mr. Villaraigosa.
26
We're gonna
Democrats said it
we're
was
gonna move on.
outrageous,
We're gonna move on now,
horrendous.
sir.
Be accountable.
All right, we're
Admit
gonna
what the
move on.
mistakes
On the
made.
topic of leadership, I want to talk about California Governor Gavin Newsom, who's about to leave office after 8 consequential and at times controversial years. To all of you, what is one word you would use to describe Governor Newsom's performance as governor? We will go down the line, starting with you, Mayor Villaraigosa. One word to describe Governor Newsom's performance as governor.
Performative.
Bold.
Progressive.
Failed.
Steve, failure. You can't take my word.
All right.
Game changing.
Incomplete.
We'll be right back with more of the California governor primary debate right here on CNN.
Well, that question, I don't know. That's fine. Whatevs. Did Becerra get his time? I think he did. Oh boy. Well, I think the other moderator, I don't know. They're from CNN. I'm not really sure. But now we have a year subscription to CNN Live. So congratulations to us, I guess. It's not over yet. It's not over. Man has seen his political grave. You know, I think he's just a fucking, I think he's I don't know. I just think he's not a serious candidate. I just think that the Democrats really need to figure out what they're going to do with this field, because the fucking primary is in less than a month. And I just think that last time, Kim, I don't know if you would agree, Oren, I don't know if you would agree, Grace, Lisa, Jen, Griffey, other California based people. I don't know if you would agree, but I think that the Prop 50 people, whoever was behind the push to get awareness raised about that, did a much better job of grassroots or whatever. It seemed grassroots organizing. So, what is it? It's Mahan. It's Mahane. Oh, is it Mahane? Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it Mahane, Oren? I'm sorry. I didn't pay attention to that. But yeah, I think that there really needs to be some kind of, well, I just think he's more libertarian. I mean, I don't think he's a plant. I don't think he's a plant at all. Or he's probably not an op. He's probably not any of those things, or to ruin things. I don't really think. But he definitely is just into he's more centrist, and he's not apologetic about it. He's moderate, and he doesn't care who knows it. You know, that kind of thing. I'm going to be sassy. I'm going to be a sassy centrist. Yeah, so Mahane, no, it's great. I'm happy to know how to pronounce people's names. I appreciate that. So no problem. It makes sense if he's Irish. If he's Irish, I met Matthew, what you doing over there? But yeah, I mean, I think, do I think Katie Porter would, as long as she's sticking to her progressive guns, would she not be a terrible governor? I guess. I mean, I don't. Oh, it's Mahan. Okay. Well, I don't even know. Who cares? I don't like him. I don't want him around. How about that? How about I call him not around? Um, but Katie's a a strong person and seems to be progressive, or at least speaks that language. And I think it would be in her actions that we would have to judge whether or not she was going to come through on things. Unfortunately. But I just don't think I don't know. I don't think she actually I think she's too negative for me. Let's put it that way. Okay? Because the governor's not the only person like making change, right? So to some degree, the governor has to be a bit of a cheerleader. Excuse me, hold on. A bit of a cheerleader to go ahead and, like get people whipped up and to understand and to get behind things and to, raise the that kind of thing. And she's too negative. Like, oh, it'll never work. Oh, it'll never. And I don't expect her to be pie in the sky either. I expect her to be thoughtful about it and to acknowledge the pain that people are feeling, which she did some good stuff around that. And, she did some good, like, explaining of what how she does care about immigrant communities and she does care about those things. But and Becerra, I think in similar ways, I think he might be a little more serious just because he's gone through the federal system as well as the state, and he probably is someone that could get the legislature to do what he wanted. I don't know. That's another thing I think the governor is important for, is to help the legislature pull it in a progressive direction, right? To include people and to say things that are bold, like a single payer system. And maybe all the details aren't figured out, but that's why you have beautiful gubernatorial panels of really fucking smart people that live in this fucking high education state. There's got to be some good ideas somewhere. Get the fucking idiots at IDEO.
Intelligence.
They must know how to do
the
something.
next governor will have to navigate a pivotal moment in the AI revolution, balancing its immense potential with the possibility of massive job loss in our state. Mayor Mahan, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, says AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20% in the next 5 years. As governor of California, would you require AI companies to compensate people displaced by their own technology? And how so?
Well, Alex, as the mayor of the largest city in Silicon Valley, I've seen these tools up close, and they can be used to make life better, but they also come with great risks, and people are right to be worried. I've regulated big tech. We started something called the GovAI Coalition to create frameworks for how cities, counties, and others should use these tools responsibly. I created the first and largest AI upskilling curriculum for city workers. This year, 1,000 city workers in San Jose will go through our upskilling curriculum. The answer is to tax these companies and fund workforce development, upskilling courses, and create the shared prosperity that we need, the pathways to the jobs of the future, but not to regulate them to the point that they simply go to other places and then this change happens to us.
Mr. Starr, your thoughts on AI?
Well, what we can't have in AI is for it to succeed and we create 12 trillionaires and millions of people who lose their jobs. The number one thing we have to do is make sure that AI is a tool for workers and not a replacement of workers. And we absolutely need to own part of it. The people of California need to have a tax or a fee on every calculation. And we'll use that to protect workers. We'll use that to retrain workers. And if there's money left over, we'll use it for a sovereign wealth fund. This is a California innovation in technology. We own the beach.
Thank you.
We should own part of AI.
Mr. Hilton, the original question, would you require AI companies to compensate people displaced by their technologies, and how so?
It's classic Democrats, isn't it, what you're hearing? If it moves, tax it. If it still moves, regulate it. And if it stops moving, I guess they want to subsidize it. Look, the truth is on this, we have to have a bit of humility. This is a very fast-moving technology, and actually even the people involved in it disagree about its exact consequences. Here are two practical things we could and should be doing better today. First of all, the real blue-collar jobs that are coming from the AI revolution, they're not happening in California. They're going to Texas and Arizona, semiconductor manufacturing. We could get that back by removing regulations. And secondly, our school system is not educating our kids to be able to thrive in this world of AI. We need to do better.
AI is a policy choice. We get to decide as Californians whether we want these technologies to work for us and to help us, or whether we want to stand by and let them gut our economy. I've talked about how AI could be delivering a 4-day work week for every single Californian, something that OpenAI came out this week talking about. I'm seeing AI already in my classrooms, having to write an AI policy with my kids' homework. We have to decide, do we want AI to work for all of us? And I think when AI uses what people have done, what workers have done, workers should be compensated for those inputs.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Obviously, AI is a huge issue that, as governor, any of you would have to deal with. Also, one that is underway right now in California, a changing climate that has been exacerbating water shortages, poor air quality, and of course, disasters like wildfires that people in this state are unfortunately all too familiar with. According to analysis from our partner, USA Facts, California has actually declared nearly 50 disasters in just the last 5 years. Mr. Steyer, your opponent here, Mr. Hilton, says that there is no evidence of California's regulations actually helping the climate. What's your response to him?
Hold on.
Well, I think that Mr. Hilton is ridiculous. Mr. Hilton is an apologist. He is an apologist for fossil fuels. He is an apologist for this war to control fossil fuels. The truth of the matter is, clean energy is now much cheaper than fossil fuel energy. We're an electric revolution the world over. That's why I'm insisting that the electric monopolies have local competition to drive down costs for Californians. That's why I'm saying we should triple the tax credit for people to buy EVs, because EVs are the absolute future. The truth of the matter is, it's very simple in terms of what we have to do in terms of energy. We need to make the polluters pay. We have to take environmental justice at the beginning of every conversation. And we need to deploy the clean energy technology that is here, that is invented by Californians, that will allow us to build huge companies all over the world. Right now, Donald Trump is fighting for the buggy whip. He is fighting for the black and white TV. He is fighting for the best. The truth is, this world is moving to electricity at warp speed on every continent. And the United States is still hanging on to the past.
I believe he called you ridiculous. Was that your word, Mr. Steyer?
I think that was my word.
Would you like to respond, Mr. Hilton, to that charge?
Again, I don't want to respond to silly insults, but I'll take the substantive point, which is, first of all, when Tom talks about tripling subsidies for electric vehicles, let's be clear what that is. That is higher taxes on hardworking Californians driving their gas cars and trucks every day so that Tom's rich friends can feel virtuous about saving the climate. The truth is we need common sense on climate change. It doesn't make sense to import oil from halfway around the world, increasing carbon emissions in the name of climate. It doesn't make sense to allow mega wildfires in our forests that actually release more carbon dioxide than what is saved by all these years of climate policy.
Mr. Steyer?
Look, I think that description of how we should handle the gasoline crisis is not real world. The truth of the matter is, we're paying gasoline prices based on world prices. We're not paying gasoline prices based on what it costs to get oil in California. We're paying world prices.
So why are they $2 higher here than everywhere else?
That is why they've gone up $1.50, Steve, because of the war in Iran.
But it's
that is not because
of
all
your
of a sudden
policies.
The costs in California went by $1.50. Drilling more in California is not going to change the price we pay at the pump. The price we pay at the pump is what the oil companies gouge us for because they're charging us what everyone else in the world pays.
Mayor Villaraigosa, can you respond to this in terms of, as someone who was the mayor of Los Angeles, Mr. Hilton is saying the climate regulations don't work, don't actually help the climate. Mr. Steyer is saying they do.
Mr. Hilton is wrong, but let me be clear. I had a 100% record on the environment in the 6 years I was in the legislature. I passed the Carl Moyer Act, which was the biggest effort to clean up the air since the Clean Air Act. When I was mayor of Los Angeles, the largest city in this state, I reduced greenhouse gases by 28% below Kyoto levels, #1 American city, #5 in the world. But we can't keep on putting these policies on the backs of working people. We've had this conversation, Alex, many times. We have the highest gas prices because we overregulate gas in this state. And yes, it's true, the Iranian war has picked them up even further. But we need to have a balance, an all of the above solution like Norway. Norway is one of the greenest countries in the world, and they produce their own oil and gas. That's how they green Norway.
Congresswoman Porter, I want to ask you about something that is a huge conversation in Washington. You've mentioned your whiteboard use that you were famous for when you served in Congress. A recent poll found that 56% of likely California primary voters think the next governor should make investigating fraud in government programs a high priority. The president has named Vice President J.D. Vance as the nation's fraud.
Wait, what? How many people want that? Caitlin? How many people want that? That's just a bunch of bullshit right-wing talking points, Caitlin. Oh my God. Here we are with the Nick Shirley fucking journalism again. Good job, Caitlin. Really making your mom proud. Which person has you blocked? I don't even see anybody named Clark. Is Clark Cusick in here? No, they're on the vertical. It's Clark's on the vertical. Fight, fight, fight. Clark. No, he doesn't have you blocked. He's over on the vertical chat. I'm looking at the Clark's wonderful. Clark Cusick. We love him. He doesn't have you blocked. He loves you. Yeah, Caitlin's a dick. I don't know. I mean, whatevs. I don't know. I don't get it, though. Oh, my God. That chat just keeps getting on there. Hold on.
J.D. Vance is the nation's fraud czar. As you know, he brings up California a lot and has made clear that he has set his sights on California. Do you believe that's a good thing?
So we should all care where our tax dollars go, whether we're paying, a low rate like Tom compared to the rest of us or a rate that's higher. We all should want our tax dollars to go to work. I think Tom wants even his 13% compared to our 20% to go to work. So fraud is real. It happens. Government waste, mismanagement, failure to have audits, failure to implement government recommendations. That's why I chose to serve on the Oversight Committee and hold Democratic leadership and Republican leadership, Trump and Biden, to account for those programs. But there's nothing special about Californians. That is political theater coming from J.D. Vance. Fraud occurs because government leaders don't think hard and design programs clearly to guard against fraud. It happens on both sides of the aisle, and it's going to take somebody who has a track record of protecting consumers and doing government oversight in order to change that.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Sheriff Bianco, on the program itself and investigating fraud, and she's saying that it's political theater that is coming from the federal government.
It's only political theater if the fraud is happening and it happened on our watch. And so the Democrats in California don't want anybody to believe that there's fraud in California.
Debate.
But yet our own state government has said that we are one of the most wasteful state governments in the entire country. The waste, fraud, and the abuse in California government is the worst in the entire country. That comes from our own state government. If we are not going to root out the waste, fraud, and abuse, all of their pie-in-the-sky policies, they certainly are not going to pay for them unless they tax you more, that's all we're hearing from them is what you started in the very beginning about how bad California is, and we aren't talking about the policies that are going to fix it because it's their policies that broke it. We've talked about them arguing about Mr. Becerra and about Trump ruining everything, but the reality is it is Democrat policies in California that have failed us in every question you've asked that
Sheriff.
We haven't answered.
Mayor Villaraigosa, this next question is for you. In 2008, California voters voted for a high-speed rail system from L.A. to San Francisco that was supposed to be done by 2020 and cost around $30 billion. It's now 2026. It's not even close to being done, and the estimated cost has ballooned to $230 billion. Mayor,
I'm gonna take advice from the troll and say I'm gonna pause and say this. Cecilia Ortiz, welcome to the show. Mehdi Hassan should have been the moderator. He would have been really good. I think is he doing independent stuff or is he still with MSNBC?
$30 billion.
Sorry, I didn't mean to push that button. Yep. Now, Clark, you're in the right place, honey. But I can see you. I can see you over there. I don't know why they're having round 2. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think
$30
it's the
billion.
makeup.
Mayor, your opponent, Steve Hilton, says that on his first day in office, he would kill this project, quote, stone dead. Would you?
No. And let me just first speak about waste and fraud. I can acknowledge that there has been waste and fraud in the state. There was 250 million in just one hospice facility. We spent $24 billion on homelessness, and homelessness went up. Why would I continue to support high-speed rail? Because when the subway to the sea was dead and I became mayor, I said I was going to bring in the best and the brightest from around the world. We did. And then I got the federal government to approve it. And that subway is going to get built. We've had incompetence, maybe fraud, but for sure, we've made mistakes with respect to this. As governor, I will do what I did as mayor, build more transportation than anybody in the United States of America.
Mr. Hilton.
So high-speed rail is an example of the fraud. They've spent billions of dollars. I don't know where the money's gone. It certainly hasn't gone into building anything that actually works. And I just want to make one broader point about fraud. I'm actually running this race in a different way than we've seen before. I've put together a team to run with me. There are other statewide offices, and along with my running mate for State Controller, Herb Morgan, and Michael Gates for Attorney General, and Gloria Romero for Lieutenant Governor, we've actually been investigating the fraud. Our surveys so far suggest that there, in the last 5 years in California, we've had $425 billion of fraud. That's around $80 billion a year, around 20% of the budget.
Thank you, sir.
And our team is going to stop it and prosecute it and give
Alex,
money
Thank
back
you,
to
sir.
Alex, if I
Congress-
could just chime in on this.
Real quickly, Mayor.
Yeah, well, first of all, election denial certainly is running a campaign in a different way. But look, on high-speed rail, it shouldn't cost us more to get to Modesto than it's cost us to get to the moon. And it's not either or. The answer is accountability.
driver
We
over
are
on the
spending
vertical.
billions of
Come over
dollars
to
before
the
we ever
horizontal
put a
one,
shovel in the
babes.
ground, paying consultants and lawyers for endless bureaucracy. As governor, I will demand fundamental reform of CEQA, of all of the rules, the environmental laws, the litigation around these projects so that we get to building faster.
we
It
can't
goes back to your
afford
climate
it.
point as well.
Well, then
We
maybe
can't
we weren't
modernize
doing
our
it
grid if
right.
we can't
That's
build.
not
Thank
the
you,
right
sir.
attitude.
Congresswoman
Of
Porter,
course
this
we could
question is to you. Let's talk
afford
about one of the biggest industries here in California, Hollywood. Film production has been leaving Hollywood for years. The state recently expanded the film tax credit to $750 million in an effort to bring those productions back. Some of your opponents here on stage think that tax credit should be unlimited. Do you?
Yes, I think we need to be competitive in California. I see a lot of people who've been in office 30 years in California, been in different elected positions on this stage, and they're patting themselves on the back when we didn't acknowledge that we are in a competition in California. It's much more expensive and much more difficult to bring any industry back than it is to hang on to it in the first place. So California's in competition. It's a competition we can and must win. We have the most talented workforce. We have the best higher education system, but we do have to have competitive policies.
Mayor Villaraigosa.
You know, when I was mayor of Los Angeles, I'd walk down a red carpet and I'd say the following, that the jobs behind the camera are more important than the people in front. 200,000 jobs we had, and we've lost them. This election is an existential election for Hollywood. So, yes, we do need an unlimited, uncapped tax credit. 1. 2, it needs to be above and below the line. The notion, too many people in Sacramento believe it should just go to camera operators and, you know, makeup people. It has to go to everyone.
That's
And
time, sir.
So that's what I'll do
Thank
when
you.
I'm governor.
All right, while we're on the topic of Hollywood, let's give the voters a chance to get to know you all a little bit. This is a rapid fire question. You know, we've done this stuff in the past. It's for each of you. Which actor would you want to play you in a movie about your life? I'm going to each of you. Think of which actor would play you in a movie about your life. Mayor Mahan, starting with you.
Oh, boy. You're going to have to come back to me. I don't know.
I got one.
Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. How's that?
Okay. Javier Becerra.
Antonio Banderas.
Okay. Sheriff.
I have no idea.
Tom
That's a
Selleck?
good answer.
Yeah. I guess that would be a good one. Clint Eastwood.
Okay. Mr. Hilton?
I think there's only one choice, really. Jason Statham.
Okay. Mr. Steyer?
Gregory Peck.
Gregory
is what
Peck.
we
Okay.
have.
The coming
is where
back,
we
I
are.
guess, to do that. Mr. Congresswoman Porter.
Tina Fey.
All right. Mr. Mayor?
At the Hollywood event when I was mayor, Antonio Banderas said he wanted to play me. So I said yes. So I got to go with Antonio
We're getting
Banderas.
Antonio Bears lots of work doing this tonight, or at least increasing
this is
his job
insanity.
out of this. We'll be back with more of the California governor debate right here on CNN.
We start with breaking news on several fronts. Want to know what I'm thinking about? Let us break it down.
Homeowners ask me all the time, do gutter guards really work? Leaf Filter certainly does. In our testing, Leaf Filter handled double the rain of common hood-style guards. It's home.
Hey, get that leaf filter for your car. That's right. That leaf filter for your car. Kara Swisher, what an idiot. Kara Swisher is why we can't have nice things. Damn it.
Back to the California governor primary debate. It is no secret
Andrew
to anyone on
Cuomo
this stage
said
tonight
what?
that this race has a very crowded field. And there are a lot of voters that are undecided. And many of them might be having some trouble distinguishing you from one another, seeing what sets you each of you apart in your campaigns. And so we want to give you an opportunity to tell us one characteristic that sets you apart from everyone else on stage here tonight. You have 30 seconds each. Mayor Villaraigosa, I'll start with you.
When I make a mistake, I'm accountable. I'm willing to say I made a mistake.
That's
when
your flex?
I have to take on my friends
my God.
because there's a big, tough issue,
can't.
I'm willing to do it. I think character matters, and I have the character to be governor of this state. I'm willing to take on my friends. It's easy to take on your opponents, but when you can take on your friends in a crisis, that's the measure of a
I
man
feel
or
like
woman.
California is being
Congresswoman?
punked.
I have shown time and time again that I am willing to push for politics to be better, for government to be better. I'm the only candidate on this stage that refuses corporate donations. That's something that year after year, election after election, Californians say they're tired of having candidates who are beholden to their donors rather than fighting for them. We have to live our values in California and elect someone who will only focus on the future of California, not on giving away campaign favors.
Mr. Steyer?
This is a simple campaign because corporations are driving up the cost for working Californians to a place where they can't afford it. And I'm the person taking on the corporate special interests. I've beaten them in the past 3 times, and they are spending millions, tens of millions of dollars against me. That's how you know that I'm the person who wants to change things, because they're spending tens of millions of dollars against me. Working people are supporting me, environmentalists are supporting me, progressives are supporting me. I'm the change agent on this stage.
And Mr. Hilton, what's the characteristic that defines you from the rest of the stage?
Well, if you ask my wife and my sons, often to their great embarrassment, it's that I absolutely hate bureaucracy and ridiculous, pointless rules and regulations that crush the life out of people and businesses and daily experience that we have. And so I just want to tell everyone, I'm going to be relentless, absolutely relentless in fighting the nonsense that makes life so difficult for each and every one of you. I will not rest until we restore sanity to our beautiful state of California.
Sheriff Bianco?
Yeah, I'm the only one on this stage that has 33 years of proven public service. The decisions that I make have life and death consequences, and those decisions are made on a daily basis, and I'm the only one that makes those. I'm also the only one on this stage that is working every single day with the consequences of the failed policies of everyone else on this stage. And the difference is I'm not one of them.
Secretary Becerra, what's your characteristic?
I think the fact that I have the
was married to
experience to
Dorit.
take on the toughest challenges, whether it's Donald Trump in his first term or whether it was COVID, something we'd not experienced in our lifetime. I've been able to prove that I can balance a budget bigger than the budget of the state of California. I've proven that I know how to tackle a national state of emergency because I've had to do that in the past as Secretary of Health and Human Services. And I proved that I can fight but more importantly, I can win. And so when someone goes into that governor's office, they're going to have to take a chair, and there will not be training wheels there for them. You have to deliver, and I have a proven record of delivering results. I don't just make inflated promises.
Mayor Mahan?
I'm relentless about delivering results in people's lives. I started my career as a public school teacher in East Side San Jose and fought every day to get each of my students on grade level. As mayor, when the bureaucracy and the establishment pushed back against solutions that would get people into treatment, or thought that it was okay to spend $1 million a door and make people wait out in tent encampments to come indoors, I fought against that. When people said we couldn't build housing, I fought to speed up permitting and reduce fees, and now we have homes under construction. I'll fight every day to make life better for Californians.
Thank you, Mayor Mahan. Thank you to all the candidates for joining us here tonight for CNN's California Governor Primary Debate. Thank you to Alex Michelson.
All you have to do is trust me. I will take care of you. What are you guys going to do? Who are you going to vote for? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Who are you going to vote for? Oh, my God. Well, I guess I mean, I'll be honest with you. This is, again, just my opinion. Hold on. I got to get rid of this freaking screen. Just a minute. Just a minute down the road. Just a minute down the road. Because we're going to have an air reader. Boy, I really pulled this one out of my butt at the last minute, didn't I? I really apologize again for that. I'm sorry for that stress that I caused you. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to make you cry. Oh, there's Abby Phillips. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm just a terrible host. I'm just a terrible host. I can't get rid of the fucking picture because I can't find it. Damn, God dang it. Tonight, I guess I'm a little rusty. Well, fuck it. We'll have Abby Phillips on our screen. No, I don't want it. I want it to be perfect. No. Don't do it. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to make you cry. I didn't want to hurt you. Oh, there we go. I'm just a jealous guy. That song always kind of creeped me out. As somebody who went through sexual violence in a relationship and violence in a relationship, that always kind of, I mean, I don't know but what it was about, but it always kind of like went, okay, well, if you didn't mean to hurt me, why did you? But anyway. Oh, I'm glad it was entertaining. Thank you to all of our out-of-town guests, not from California, who agreed to sit through it. I really appreciate you. I love you all so much. I love the company, and I love your input, and I just think you're very wonderful. I'm voting, yeah, I agree, Cecilia. I agree. I'm leaning towards Becerra. I think he's got the gravity, make sure that human rights and civil rights and, innovative and people-centered policies are what our governor leads and what he or she accomplishes for the state, right? And I know after living in the state my entire life, or most of it, I was born here, and I've been through Democrat and I've been through Republican, and it's always worse under a Republican. Sorry, that's just the way it is. And I don't agree that that we can't afford a high-speed rail. Of course we can. God damn it, that's stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It would be one of the most popular ways to go from San Francisco to Los Angeles and San Diego and beyond. So fuck off. That's not even true. Anyways, thank you for coming to our special show. Yeah, go ring that bell, girl. I will see you Friday night for trivia because we're still on a little bit of a break while we go on the hunt for a new studio. So anyways, thanks again for coming. I really appreciate you. Thanks to all the new people who came. Really nice to have you here. Lovely to have your input. We really appreciate it. And I will see you later.